Matt Scraby.
That poor stick figure, we're disparaging.
Probably
it.
no good.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason with a great performance.
Gwyn and Chris are ready to go.
All right, Padres fans, how about that? One game in and one win. And it was, a pretty convincing win for the Padres. Yes, we are talking about a first spring training game. But after not seeing baseball for a very long time and not seeing the Padres score a run in the last 24 innings of the season last year, we saw them get a win and we saw them break that 24-inning scoreless streak with a Manny Machado home run in his first pitch of 2025. So we are going to be talking about this game today. Obviously, there's a lot to be taken from it, and we will go over all the different position battles. We'll go over some of the things that happened today with the pitching. But overall, I don't think the Padres could be, asked for anything more in the opening game of spring training. I'm Matt Scraby. This is Gwyn and Chris. Chris is traveling with the Aztecs women's basketball team today, so he's not going to be in, but Tony is making his way back from the Peoria Sports Complex to his humble abode, and then he will join me there, or he will join me when he gets there, and we'll get some of his thoughts from the game today. And I think that, there's the one thing that really came to mind when Manny hit that home run was me kind of laughing in my head, like, haha, Dodgers fans that wanted to make fun of the Padres until they scored. Manny gave them no opportunity to make fun of the Padres. And he went, first pitch. And that's something that we have been talking about here leading up to the season, about Manny's health and about Manny's, about his elbow and how he has been saying this entire time that he's feeling 100%. And I think he showed you why it's important for Manny Machado, even at 75%, I'll take that Manny Machado. But 100%, that's star stuff, and that's what Manny Machado is being paid to do. In fact, Jesse Agler it was nice to hear Jesse and Tony on the radio. I'm looking forward to talking to Tony about that. But here is Jesse calling that Manny home run.
First pitch swinging, Manny in the air to deep center field. Rodriguez tracking it. He's at the wall looking up. It's going to go! First pitch of the spring to Manny Machado, a 2-run home run.
Love it. I love it. Manny never said one word last year really about his elbow not being 100% or how bad it actually hurt him to start the season. But as we all know, he was ahead of plan. We didn't expect him to even make his debut last year until further into the regular season. But he was there on day one, and you could tell that he struggled for the first 2-3 months of the season. But if this is the Manny Machado that we're going to get, and yes, I am very excited about a spring training home run. But if you can't get excited about a spring training home run for Manny Machado, then I guess I can just call you a doomer. I don't know how you can really come away from this game today and feel anything other than, happy and elated that this is the Padres we got in game number 1. I thought about this all drive down from home. How excited do I really want to be about this? Because, yes, I understand this is the first spring training game of 2025, and nothing really matters in these games. But for me, I can take some things from today, and we're going to hear some of the audio from the players as we go along today. I know that Gavin Sheets spoke after his day with going 2 for 2 with an RBI and scoring a run. Did the Padres find a DH candidate right there with Gavin Sheets? We talked about him a little bit. We didn't really know what he was going to do for the Padres, but we knew he had some power. We knew he had consistent power in the limited time he has, the opportunities that he's had. So maybe Gavin Sheets is someone that we could count on for a DH. We'll get into the audio with him a little bit later. Eggy Rosario, interesting that he got the start at second today, because it was really talked about Eggy being in there as a left fielder or trying to make the team as a left fielder, but putting him at second does open up some other things. I mean, there are so many different lineup combinations that you can have if Eggy Rosario is going to be able to play second base here and there. And he showed his power today. He's going to get a look in left field and apparently at second base. He was 1 for 2 with an RBI, a walk, a run, and a strikeout. Connor Joe made his Padres debut. 2 walks and a run for Connor Joe, Tirso Ornelas. And let me just say, I feel bad when I pronounce guys' names wrong. And I try to get it right. It's not on purpose that I pronounce their names wrong. But it's not Terso, as I have been saying. It's Tirso. So I'm sorry to Tirso. But he got the start in left today. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. And Padres pitching, I mean, I didn't expect them to throw a gem as they did today. And I think it's even harder in the first game of spring training to throw as well as they did. If we're on Mariners radio today, am I dooming Mariners radio? I don't know. I wouldn't be happy after taking the air after my Mariners team looked like that today. Through 5 innings, Padres pitching had not allowed a hit. And the end right there was a home run in the 9th inning, which, is whatever. Padres win 5-2. Most of the game was pitched very, very well. Berger, who started the game, he went 1 inning, gave up nothing. Gillespie, he struck out a batter, went 1 inning, didn't give up a hit. Now, Tom Cosgrove, I want to ask Tony about Tom Cosgrove because my question is, what really happened to Tom Cosgrove? 2 years ago, he was one of the guys that you were looking forward to coming out of the bullpen in certain matchups. But the beginning of last year, he struggled, and then this year, it looked like in the limited time he had today, he wasn't great. He gave up a run, and he walked a batter as well. But I want to know what happened to Tom Cosgrove. I liked when Tom Cosgrove came into the game, so hopefully he can figure it out at a certain point. Drew Pomerantz, by the way, I see that on the chat. I honestly didn't even know Drew Pomerantz was still in the league, but he's with the Mariners now. Not the Padres' problem anymore. He gave up 2 hits in his outing today in an inning and struck out a batter. But overall, there's nothing for us to really complain about. Some of the big stars, they didn't get to see time today. Luis Arraez, Xander Bogaerts, Campusano, Jake Cronenworth, Fernando. But you did see Manny Machado hit a home run, and you saw a lot of good baseball today. You got you got some answers for what we're kind of looking at here in 2025. You got some early, very, very, very early indications of what the Padres are trying to accomplish here in spring training and finding out what kind of combinations that they want to use during the season. But Tyler makes a good point on the YouTube chat. By the way, you could watch on YouTube. Just search 97.3 The Fan. You could also watch on Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. But Tyler said Mariners also had more of their stars in the lineup for the first few innings, and that's absolutely true. Julio Rodriguez, one of the best players in baseball. Center fielder, 0 for 2. Cal Raleigh, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. Where'd he go? There he is. 0 for 2. J.P. Crawford, he went 0 for 1. He did have an RBI, but they threw out Rosarena. That's the last one I was looking for there. I knew there was one more that I needed to hit on, and he went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So, I mean, there is 100% good vibes in this studio. I know that when Tony gets here and I say, Tony, they won. This season is going to be great. He's going to be like, it's great. It's first game of spring training, bro. First game of spring training. And yes, I understand that, everybody. I understand it's the first game of spring training, but you're going to get a happy guy today because we don't have to talk about the Mariners getting like 2 hit in their first game. They scored 2 runs and they only had 2 hits. So everything went really, really well today. Nick Danucci is helping me in studio. Hold up that sign one more time, Nick. Let me see what you got going on there because Nick is helping me produce. Okay, so you got some pitching sound. Let's go to the top of the fourth inning and hear what Padres pitching sounded like.
Check swing, doesn't matter. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. And a very impressive 1-2-3, 2 strikeout fourth inning for Bradley Rodriguez.
So there you go. Bradley Rodriguez? Yes, I heard that correctly. And then one more highlight today from Jesse Agler.
I never thought it. Grounder to first. Brooks has got it, brings it himself, and another 1-2-3 inning for Padre pitching. They have been outstanding here this afternoon. This time it is Eduardo Nunez.
That's the one thing about spring training that's very difficult is there are a lot of guys on this team that I have never heard of before, and there are a lot of guys that are getting opportunities on this team, but it's a lot of these guys we're not going to talk a lot about for the season. They're basically just kind of showing what they can do. Now, one other player that honestly we did not talk about once, at least I didn't talk about this player during the lead up to the season, Oscar Gonzalez starts in right field. Now, I don't think that he is a candidate for like a starting position. Obviously, right field is kind of filled right now with the, Fernando Tatis Jr. But he went 2 for 3 today, and I had never heard of him before, which could be because, maybe I should do more reading on Oscar Gonzalez, and I probably will do more reading on him. I'm going to ask Tony what he knows about Oscar Gonzalez, but he's 27 years old. He has 535 career at-bats with the Guardians, so he has big league experience. And he just came over here. He hit 296 in 91 games in 2022 for the Guardians. 11 home runs, 43 RBIs, 788. Okay, I need to look into this a little bit more because I think Oscar Gonzalez, he's jumping out at me right now as someone that I maybe should have probably paid attention to a little bit more in the offseason. Last year, he did not play last year with the Guardians. And 2023 was his last full year. He played 54 games, hit 214. So 2022 is a sign of things that he can do, which is 11 home runs, 43 RBIs, 296 batting average, 788 OPS in 91 games. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. What do you all want to talk about out there? Give us a call, 833-288-0973. We'll try and fit you in if you had any questions or anything like that. And if you also are wanting to ask a question, you can do so on the YouTube chat. Just go 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, or search 97.3 The Fan on YouTube. What else can we talk about from this game? Actually, the automated balls and strike system was used today, and I thought it was really funny that when I was driving down, Jesse and Tony were talking about the automated balls and strike system, and Tony said, there is absolutely only one guy on the team that should not challenge a ball or a strike, and that's a pitcher. And that makes so much sense, because how many times do you think a pitcher is going to be like, that was actually a strike, they're going to use the challenge, and then they're going to waste that challenge? And I thought it was funny that in the minor leagues, they tell pitchers they're not allowed to challenge at all. So I don't know how much we're going to see this in spring training. Obviously, and I know it's not going to be a part of this season, but it feels like it is going to be a part of this season. I know that they have to test it out. I know that they have to work out the kinks and stuff before we get into the regular season, but I like what I'm seeing from this challenge system. I don't mind it. Hopefully they could maybe they're not going to bring it in this year. I was going to say maybe they'll bring it in this year, but they're not going to just bring it in this year. Let's see. Who's calling who a Hall of Famer on the... Oh, Brandon said, I'm going to go out on a limb. That Machado guy that homered today, I think he makes the team. He looks like a special player. Yeah, I
have
agree.
a quick tidbit, if I may.
Yes, what's
it's
up?
the pitching thing is like Waymo. Like, it seems like good and conceptual.
What's
like,
Waymo?
Waymo is like the driverless car.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's so early in development. I like the concept of it, but it's like, is it really quite ready to be used by the masses in high leverage situations?
Okay.
I am not so sure.
All right, that was a great pop in, Nick. Honestly, like I hadn't thought about it like that, because I think in San Francisco, a Waymo car ended up like driving in circles in a parking lot and all the alarms went off. So I guess it's not ready for the masses. And that's a really good point, Nick. It is not ready for the masses. The ABS, not ready. Tyler says, I will say it kind of took the steam out of the final strike call, but at least it was upheld. Yeah, that was strange how the end of the game ended on a ABS challenge. Wow, that was quick. 15, 20 minutes. Wow, jeez. All right, when we get back, we're going to check in on Tony. We're also going to talk a little bit more about the ABS system. And if you have anything you want to talk about, give us a call, 833-288-0973. Matt Scraby filling in for Gwyn and Chris until Tony gets here in about 15, 20 minutes on 97.3 The Fan. Well, it's going to be Matt Scravy for a little bit longer until Tony Gwyn Jr. snakes his way through traffic. He actually sent me a picture of where he's at in the parking lot. I feel like Tony and Chris think I don't believe them sometimes when they tell me things because, like, they always send pictures to, like, prove. And I'm not that mean of a person. I'm not that mean of a person at all. But Tony sent me this picture that I'm showing on the stream right now, and it's of him in a long, long line of cars waiting to get out. So he is making his way as fast as possible. Lots of people at the Peoria Sports Complex today because of the first game of the year. The Padres beat the Mariners 5-2 in an otherwise amazing game for the Padres to start off 2025. You can't ask for anything more. You heard Chris in the open saying E-Guy. I don't think that you can forget that his name is Eggy anymore because Eggy's made some strides towards being a more regular part of this team. And we saw last year some glimpses of Eggy being able to hit for power. And Eggy, if he's able to play multiple positions, I think some of these fringe guys on the roster, I think like those guys are the ones that need to be able to play anywhere they ask them to, you know, within reason, I guess. But those guys are the ones like it makes it here. Here's what I'm trying to say. In radio, the way I got into radio, and yes, I'm comparing myself to Eggy real quick, but the way I got myself into radio was to volunteer for each and everything that was out there. It didn't matter what it was. Was it news? Volunteer. Was it overnights? Volunteer. So when they later down the road needed someone, they knew I could handle everything. Same goes for these guys. Tyler Wade could play almost every position. Eggy seems like he could play multiple positions. Connor Joe can play multiple positions. Luis Ariz can play multiple positions. Jake Cronenworth could play multiple positions. Xander Bogaerts. Do I need to keep going? Manny Machado if he wanted to. Jackson Merrill. Fernando Tatis Jr. This entire team is filled with guys that can play multiple positions. Now, you're not going to move some of these guys around. You're not going to move Manny from third. You're not going to move Xander from shortstop anymore. You're not going to move Fernando from right field. You're not going to move Jackson Merrill from center. But some of these other guys can make the team by doing things that the other players can't do. You got to make yourself as available as possible. I remember being told that like third day of my radio career, and it never left me, and I'm sitting here now because of it. I'm here with Nick Danucci, by the way. I've been asked about that, so Nick is helping me out until Tony gets here. And we're going to talk about Gavin Sheets because we weren't really sure about the DH situation with the Padres. Is DH going to be an issue for the Padres? Is Luis Ariz going to be a full-time DH? No, the answer is no. If Gavin Sheets keeps doing what he did today, then I think he's going to make a really good case to make this team as the DH. He went 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run today. And after the game, Sammy Lev caught up with him, and he was asked just about his debut and how he feels.
Oh, it's always great. You know, any day like that, just come out and swing the bat well, and you know, especially first day in a new uniform with these guys and coming out and feeding off the energy and having a good first day.
With what you have been focusing on, did this feel representative of what you're trying to show?
Absolutely. You know, I feel good about the adjustments I made this offseason. I love the work that I put in here with the new coaching staff, and you know, just getting their ideas of what they see and what they've seen over the past, and the hitter I can get back to being. And so coming out today and seeing it flourish in the game is always nice.
You had a hit down the right field line, hit to left center. Was it nice day one to have one of those going the other way?
Absolutely. You know, you get both of them. You swing at the right pitches today. I mean, obviously it's early, and you know, you just want to be on time and swing at the right pitches. But more importantly, it's just fun to be out there with these guys. I mean, there's an awesome energy here. The vibe and the culture here is just something I want to be part of.
Yeah, Mike said earlier that it seems like you really like being here. What stood out about this place in particular so far?
I do. I've really enjoyed my time here. Just the culture that's here, the winning atmosphere. It's something I want to be a part of, and something that drew me here. You know, I knew what the expectations were coming here. I want to be a part of this team. I want to be a part of getting back to winning baseball, and this is the perfect fit.
What can you tell us are some of those things that they were emphasizing that you are working on? this spring?
Just the small details, how to win a World Series. How are we going to win a World Series? And it takes everybody in the clubhouse. And that's what we're doing, just the smallest details possible, from base running to base leads to just all the small things that sometimes get left behind. That's what we focus on here. And, it's just a great winning culture.
So then for yourself at the plate, what are those small details? You mentioned, things you're trying to work on this spring, things that the coaching staff.
Yeah, so just some small mechanic stuff, a little bit of approach stuff and more mechanic stuff, staying tall on my backside and getting back to some things that I had a lot of success with early in my career and some things I got away from a little bit recently and getting back to that and getting these guys ideas and just testing myself.
There you go. That's Gavin Sheets talking with the media. You heard our guy Sammy Lev. You heard Kevin Acey. You heard AJ Cassavell. And Gavin Sheets, do you think he's a happy guy? He played for the White Sox for the last 3 years. I mean, I don't know how much more depressing it can get to be a player because they lost a lot of games last year. And sometimes things like this are good for a guy like Gavin Sheets who, didn't really find his spot on the White Sox. I think there's a lot of turnover on the White Sox, and so that's probably why he never really caught on. But guys like Gavin Sheets appreciate opportunities that are being given to them with a team that's really good. And that's what he is hoping the Padres are this year. He hopes that they are good because he has been on one of the worst teams in baseball history. And that's not me joking around. That's actual facts about the White Sox. Today, Gavin Sheets, his exit velocity on his double was 103.9. And his other double earlier in the game was 105.6. So this dude is hitting the ball very, very, very hard. Both of his doubles were over 104 miles an hour or 103 miles an hour off the bat. The top exit velocities of the day, Gavin Sheets is fifth. J.P. Crawford actually was the number one exit velocity of the day, 110.1. Brandon Lockridge, who is also another guy who we saw a little bit last year, he's still fighting for a spot on this team. He went 108.7. Manny Machado, 108.6. And then that Oscar Gonzalez guy that I probably should have paid more attention to in the offseason, 108.4. All right, you know what? Let's hear from one of those Gavin Sheets doubles.
2-1 to Sheets. Hard hit in the air, center field. Rodriguez going back a little bit towards left center on the move of the wall, and it hits up against the padding. Joe's being waved around third. Crawford's relay to the plate, not in time. RBI double Gavin Sheets, his second two-bagger of the day, and the Padre lead is 4-1.
There's not much analysis for me to do right there. It was just a really good hit for him, a really hard hit for him, and I think that Gavin Sheets is going to hopefully what's the phrase I'm looking for? Take the bull by the horns and force his way onto this team. Jocelyn is saying that she appreciates Nick is writing me notes on the whiteboard, and you can see this on YouTube. That's why I'm bringing it up. But he writes me notes on the whiteboard. Jocelyn says, usually Scraby just fist pumps really hard at Tony or Ella, which is true. I usually do that. I'm like, guys, go to break. But actually, we've been really good on the breaks lately. If you're just tuning in, Tony is making his way back from the Peoria Sports Complex, and Chris is traveling with the Aztecs women's basketball team today. So I will be with you until Tony gets here, and then it will be Tony and I. And then, yes, we do have a Scraby show at 6 p.m. tonight. Now, Xander Bogaerts didn't get in the game today, but we're going to talk about this when Tony gets here. Buster Olney, or as Chris says, Buster Polney, is he ranked the top 10 shortstops today. And you would think, is Xander a part of the top 10 shortstops? Well, I'm going to spoil it for you. And since Chris isn't here, I have to make his joke that he makes every time. He had to pay for this article. No, Xander Bogaerts did not make the top 10 shortstops in baseball right now. Not only that, he didn't even make honorable mentions for top shortstops. Now, am I angry at Buster Olney because of this? Do I think he's stupid because of this? No, I don't. I mean, we've all seen what Xander Bogaerts has brought forth in the last couple years, and if he wasn't a superstar that was being paid a lot of money coming into San Diego, I think he would be, he would be a player that we wouldn't be so mad at. But there's a lot of motivation for Xander this year. And we're going to talk about, in the Scraby Show at least, some of the things that he's been doing in the offseason, which is really working hard on his game. I think the last couple years have maybe gotten to Xander a little bit in this way. Like, he's always been a superstar, and everything has been, I'm not going to say easy for him, but everything has just, everything has been a lot. Okay, I'll just use easier because I can't think of another word. But Xander Bogaerts came to San Diego, and he struggled, and he's had injuries, and so that's not something that he is used to in his career. He's not someone who has missed a lot of time before. When he was with the Red Sox, he was a powerhouse, and he led them to a World Series title. This year, I do think, because of the last couple years, that Xander Bogaerts has a little bit more motivation to get back to being one of the best shortstops in baseball. And when you look at the list that Buster Olney put together, you are going to see a lot of guys that I think Xander Bogaerts could pass. Now, his number one shortstop, Buster Olney, is Bobby Witt Jr. Then you got Mookie, Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, Lindor, Ellie De La Cruz, Trey Turner, Willie Adames, Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson. Then the honorable mentions Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies, Mason Wynn of the Cardinals, Zach Neto for the Angels, and Jeremy Pena for the Astros. All of those are younger guys, but I think that Carlos Correa could be... I think Xander could be better than Carlos Correa this year. I think Xander could be better than Trey Turner this year. Trey Turner is tough to overcome, but I do think Xander can get himself back on this list at a certain point this season. Someone should send this list to him and tell him, hey, Xander, you're not a top 10 shortstop according to Buster Olney.
Quick fun fact, if I may.
A fun fact, okay.
I did not know this until I googled Gavin Sheets. He is actually from the same hometown I am from, which is a place called Timonium, or also Lutherville, Maryland. So, and I'm just mentioning that. A few people in the chat are like, "Who is this strange man in the other seat?" So,
well, that was not a fun fact. That was more of a. Everybody should see Nick's face.
Your deadpan is good. Your deadpan is good.
Where is he from?
It's a place called Timonium. Also,
Timonium? It sounds like something that goes in a nuclear weapon.
No, yeah, it's also hyphenated with Lutherville, or Lutherville could be the first name of it. It just depends. But it's
East Coast cities are so confusing.
It is. He actually went to Gilman as well. If you've ever heard of Gilman,
I've never heard of Gilman.
It's like a private high school, but he obviously went to Wake Forest for college.
Okay,
so, interesting.
All right, we're learning new stuff about Gavin Sheets. And now, whenever Nick goes and sees Gavin Sheets, he can be like, hey, we're from Titanium Town. Or what is it? Aluminum?
It's Timonium. I can spell
Timonium,
it.
okay.
Timonium. It is a funny name. Having grown up there. Like, I was born in Towson, which is right near it.
I've heard of that.
Timonium sounds funny when you're hearing it for the first time.
It does. It does. Nick is from, that's actually the Baltimore, Maryland area for everybody out there Nick is from Baltimore. All right, it's time to go to break. I went a little too long. I am going to slap myself for that in the break. But when we get back, we'll see where Tony is. We'll also hear some more audio from the post game. And you're here with Scraby and Nick DiNucci filling in for Gwyn and Chris here on 97.3 The Fan. here on Gwyn and Chris. We are celebrating like the Padres have won a World Series. I'm just kidding. We're not. I'm only saying that because Tony has just joined us from Peoria. And I know Tony is going to temper my excitement. Hello, Tony. How was your first game back?
It was fun. It was it's good to be back calling baseball games again. And it helped that the boys played well in the first game. A lot of good things to see. And I already knew, without even having heard a word of the show, that you were jumping off and out of windows because of how well they did today.
I'm telling you one thing, Tony. I said, yes, this is the first game of spring training. Yes, it absolutely means nothing in the scheme of things. But did it feel good to see Manny Machado hit a home run in the first inning on his first pitch of spring training? Absolutely it did.
Did it feel any different when he hit his first one last year? I mean, I think it always feels good when he homers or anybody homers, but especially him. But yeah, I mean, this. I hope this is indicative of what we'll see all season. If it is, great. This is going to be a terrific 2025 season. I can guarantee that. If this is indicative of what we see all season long.
Now, I'm curious on the Mariners side. Because you put it in perspective all the time. Are they leaving that game like, ugh, that stunk? Like,
no.
Okay. I figured that was the answer.
In the same way, nobody on the Padres side is like, oh, yes, we came out and we just
we smoked the Mariners, guys.
Yeah, they're not tripping about it. They're not even thinking about a win or a loss. Everybody to a man is most likely, all right, I took steps into getting to be the version of myself that I want to become come regular season time. Especially this early. Manny saw 2 pitches today.
That's true.
And he homered on one and hit a lined out to right on the other. On the flip side, Ethan Salas, I think, only swung the bat 4 times out of all of the pitches he saw in his couple ABs. Mm-hmm. And he saw a lot of them. Everybody's working on different things right now. And so, it's good for me. What was impressive because I got a chance, not really impressive, but exciting, is because I've been watching. I got a chance to see. I actually stayed with Manny's group today. It was Manny, Bogey, Luis Ariz, and Yuri Gurriel. They were in a group together, and I watched them today. Yesterday, I watched some of the guys like Jason Hayward. I watched him yesterday. I watched Connor Joe, and so today I watched the big dogs. And the exciting thing was exactly what I saw from Manny and BP was exactly the 2 swings he took in the game. So at this point he's able to carry it from where he went from BP right into the game. And literally identical balls he hit in batting practice was like the first and second one he hit today. So that was exciting, but that's very rarely is spring training indicative of what happens during the season, good or bad.
Can I is it safe to say that Manny showed us today what 100% looks like for Manny?
Yeah, today he did. Sure.
Okay, good. Well, his elbow
if he's still 100%.
He never told us, but his elbow was a problem last year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the fact that he brought it up, that he was healthy, 100% healthy. I think that means something. Like, he doesn't discuss his, percentage, what he is. He doesn't even acknowledge that he's hurt most of the time, all the time. But the mere fact that he brought that up unsolicited, I think that tells you how healthy he feels, how good he feels right now.
What did you think of Gavin Sheets today, going 2 for 2, both of hard-hit doubles? What do you think of him?
I think what you want to see in spring is a healthy competition.
Yeah.
You want there to be multiple options, multiple guys. You want that to be a tough decision, right? And I think the thing that stood out for me with Sheets was first at bat was lefty on lefty. when he doubled, and then he showed that he can go the other way. I mean, he can pull a ball and not even pull a ball, but drive a ball in the left center field gap as well. So 2 good ABs. I mean, this is ideally when you have a first spring training game, you'd love to have 2 doubles to start the spring training schedule off.
Yeah, right before you jumped on, I was saying that Gavin Sheets has spent the last 3 seasons with the White Sox. I mean, it can't get any worse. So an opportunity with the Padres, he's taking full advantage through 1 game so far. Mike Schilt talked after the game to the media, and here is Mike Schilt just giving his overall thoughts on what happened today.
Mike, in a camp that has a lot of open competition, seemed like a pretty good first day with a lot of guys contributing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Really liked, well played all phases. The pitching, strikes, guys were going at people. Bogaerts set the tone. Really nice job on his part. Loved the approach. Of course, Manny, the big 2-run homer, but Sheets with a double, using a big part of the field for the other double, and Rosario drove a ball, Brousseau drove a ball. A lot of really, really good stuff.
Manny, I mean, we've talked a lot about his health. The fact that he comes out and does that on day 1, I know it is just spring training, but what can this level of build-up with health for him do for the season?
Yeah, we do talk about it a fair amount internally. If we can just go out and take advantage of every opportunity, and with the ability we have, and don't give anything away, we're really tough, and Manny healthy is clearly a good sign. It's a good sign for first swing to be able to get that nice easy stroke into center field for a 2-run homer.
Your impression of Bradley Rodriguez?
I liked all the guys that came out of the pen. There were some arms, but Bradley, that was really nice. Came in, aggressive body action, stuff comes out, crisp, later slider. I thought was really, really crisp.
You elucidated a lot of interesting things that you look at when you're evaluating competition, but you're coming through in a game like Sheets did, especially going down the right field, that does help, right?
Absolutely helps. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to kid ourselves. It is result-oriented, but if he'd have bowled, squared up 2 balls and hit bullets right at people, we'd have gone, okay, good at bats. But left-handed, boom, down the line, stayed on the ball in the left center. So, no, clearly, the production does help.
Kind of strange to end a game like that.
Yeah, I was like, shake hand, don't shake hand. Well, you got nothing to lose, right? Might as well, I guess. But yeah, it was like, oh crap, okay, strike. But yeah, weird, different.
All right, that was Mike Schilt post game with the media. Tony, that was kind of weird at the end of the game. It was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's going to mess up a bunch of calls at the end of the year.
Oh, you mean like radio calls?
Radio calls, TV calls.
Yeah, that's
true. Because ultimately, as I mean, it is going to be what do you have to lose, right? I mean, why not challenge it? If you got one and it's the last out of the game, yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that. So it's going to throw off a bunch of calls moving forward.
I love it.
It's not going to be can't do anything cool on a close one because they got a challenge left. Guess what? They're going to challenge it.
Now it's just going to be silence until they figure it out.
Right.
We're going to have to cut it all
That's
out.
exactly how they're going to play it.
I guess that is kind of like the most dramatic way to end a game is everybody has to wait for the ball strike call to come in, and they're all staring at the screen. All right, we're going to head to break, Tony. We're going to get our bearings, and when we get back, we have some more Padres stuff. Obviously, we'll talk more about the game. We're going to talk about this Buster-only top 10 shortstops in baseball list. Also, we have some prizes to give away. The Big Five, possibly a countdown. Tony and I will get all this straightened out here in the break on 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on The Fan.
Coming up on...
is in Peoria right now.
Scrape, you could have just,
I know. I realized that
let
as
your
I was
boy
doing
bring
it.
us back.
Yep, I realized that as I was doing it.
You could have did what you needed to do.
I realized this as I was doing it, Tony. I'm like, oh, gosh.
I don't know if you know this, but I've been on a radio show myself for a little bit of time.
That's not
I might
true.
have been able to help with that.
That's not true. That's not true. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine. In Coronado or La Jolla for dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. We're going to get some traffic, and then Tony's going to give us some thoughts from the spring training game today.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. You're a little busy on our roads. A collision on southbound 15 before Balboa. It's in the second lane from the left. Also, eastbound King Freeway at the 15 collision blocking the 2 right lanes. Emergency crews on scene. South 125 before Spring Street, crash at the center divide. And northbound side of the 125, got a stalled vehicle just before Hamashaw, not showing if lanes are blocked. Also traveling on North 163 at the 15, stalled vehicle over the right shoulder. Stall on northbound 805 right around Mesa College, and then up ahead right before Mira Mesa Boulevard. Got a crash where the vehicle is facing the wrong way in the center divide. Stop by into the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwyn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome back, Gwyn and Chris. Rolling through this Friday afternoon. That's right, the weekend is right around the corner. Tony Gwyn Jr., Matthew Scraby. And, Scraby, I assume you talked a little bit about your thoughts on the game. I'm sure you've
I was over the moon,
World
Tony.
Series champs.
Yep, they were. I was elated for everything that happened today. I honestly was looking forward to hearing what you had to say about the position battles, because I know it's early in camp, but if this is the type of competition that they're going to have all year or all spring training, this is good stuff.
It definitely bodes well. I think one of the things that AJ tried to do here is create that competition. You didn't have a lot of it because you didn't have guys. You didn't have enough guys for there to be a legitimate competition, and so now you have that. Today, you got a chance to see Tirso out there a little bit and left. You got to see who else did you get to see today? You got to see Gavin Sheets, and
Connor Joe.
Connor Joe got to swing the bat a little bit, and so the competition begins. Now, I don't know if you got a chance to hear Schulte talk about it yesterday, but in these first game or two, they're not counting it towards competition yet. Everybody, you're giving guys the grace to kind of get their feet under them a little bit before, the competition light really gets going. But, ultimately being able to, get off to a good start is the name of the game. Gavin Sheets did that, got off to a good start. Mike Brasso had himself a knock when he came in to the ball game. So, these guys are, trying to establish themselves, and I thought pretty much everybody to a man got off to a good start today. I thought Ethan Salas' 2 ABs, I thought those were really, really telling in what he's trying to do. He's always, even in the previous years, he's always looks like somebody who understood the strike zone. But I felt like in the previous camps, he was overmatched. Today, it didn't seem like that. Today, he was commanding those at-bats with, I think he walked once. He ended up coming off a hanging breaking ball after a good battle. I see the progress in him. I see why he had some success in the fall league over the offseason. Who else? The whole pitching staff. Everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Everybody threw the ball really well. Logan Gillespie was good. I liked Rodriguez. Bradley. Is it Bradley or Bradley? I think it is, right?
Mike Schilt just said. I'll have to go listen to it in the break, but we'll need to learn his name. So
we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that one down. We're gonna get that one down. Eggy had himself some good at bats today. He had himself a double.
Tirso.
Back to the pitchers. Tirso as well. He had himself. He was the only one that played all game. You know, he got 4 at bats in there. So I just think that there was a lot of good. Everybody who wanted to get off to a good start for the most part, or felt like they needed to in terms of the competition, they all pretty much had good days. Not a lot to be disappointed in, for sure.
Man, Tony, why didn't they have like something happen during the game that we could like be worried about or something? The game went so well that we can't be worried about anything after.
Dog, why you? Everybody spent the whole offseason worrying.
I know.
Do we got to go back to that already?
I'm feeling a lot better about the team. A lot better. Like, I don't know, nothing really changed outside of from Nick Pivetta on. Nothing changed, but all of a sudden I'm seeing this go down. I'm feeling better about the guys that they brought in.
I gotta make my way to meet Nick. I've seen him a few times walking by. He seemed to be kind of busy at those times. So
new guys usually have to talk to everyone.
They do, and I'm sure he's probably tired of talking. So that's why I kind of left him alone.
See, that's where Tony goes. That's where he goes right. He knows. He knows to just keep his distance for a little bit, and then he'll make his way in with Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, you gotta kind of finesse these type of situations a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Oh yeah, ESPN Buster Olney,
yes,
shortstop list. I already kind of mentioned it a little bit.
For the record, I haven't looked at this yet. I'm about to pull it open now.
Okay.
See what it's talking about. What caught your eye about it?
Well, what caught my eye is that Xander Bogaerts isn't even on the list, nor the honorable mention list. And I said this earlier today. You know, I didn't expect him to be, but I didn't think that he would be so far gone from the list. I thought honorable mention would have been a nice one for him.
Okay, so I guess the question is do you think Xander is a top, based on the last year, I would assume, right? This is based off, or last couple of years. Do you think he's a top 14 shortstop?
No. So
why would you think he's going to be an honorable mention then?
Because of the pedigree. Because of the numbers that he has behind him traditionally. I mean, ever since he became a Padre, he hasn't reached those types of numbers. But I think this year will probably be good for him. I was reading a lot about Xander Bogaerts and how he, in the offseason, he said he ran a lot. And he did different things.
He looks phenomenal.
He does? That's what he was saying.
He looks really good.
He's definitely, like, done something different this offseason to have a better year, and if they can unlock Xander, that's just icing on the cake. But yeah, so I don't think you're right. I don't think he's a top 14 shortstop, but I don't know if Mookie Betts deserves to be on the shortstop list because he's not traditionally a shortstop, and he's moving there this year. But I believe I'm having trouble logging into ESPN Plus, where Chris says you have to pay for it. I believe he's either second or third on the list of shortstops.
Who? He's second.
Mookie.
Mookie's
Oh, there
second.
you are. You're on the
Yes.
camera now. There he is. Just search 97.3 The Fan in the YouTube. He's second.
He's second.
Okay.
And you don't think he should be second. Where do you think he should be?
Not on the list. He didn't play shortstop last year.
You don't think he should be on the list?
Are we doing this list based off of what happened last year, or are we doing this list based off of a popularity contest?
Remember, Manny was, fifth on the list yesterday?
Yeah, fourth.
And there were some people. There were some people ahead of him that we felt like, well, what is it? So it has nothing to. I don't think this has anything to do with defense, per se, or where you played. It's the position you're playing going into this season, and the type of overall player you are. That's how I'm reading this list.
All right. Well, then if that's the case, then that makes sense that Mookie is there.
Yeah, I think that's why he is there. I mean, you think Bobby Wood Jr., Mookie Betts, Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor, Ellie De La Cruz, who made 1 billion errors over at shortstop last year.
I do know that.
Trey Turner, Willie Adames, Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson. Honorable mention, Ezekiel Tovar, Mason Wynn, the Angels Zach Neto, and Jeremy Pena of the Astros.
That's a pretty tough list to crack.
It's a tough list right now, and that's all of baseball. It's not just National League shortstop. And to be fair, if your argument is that Mookie Betts didn't play shortstop last year, you can make the same argument for Xander. He didn't play shortstop until Kim got hurt. So
yeah,
I guess he played, but he didn't play a lot of games over there.
That is true.
I tell you what, I will. That's another thing I did notice. Xander, I don't know if it's because he ran so much. He's moving well over at short.
I mean, that stuff, bad years as a professional athlete, Tony, you could say, bad years really motivate people to get better if you want to get better.
I mean, no one likes to be embarrassed. No one wants there's no bigger critic to Xander than himself, I'm sure. No matter what anybody else has to say, I'm sure he's hardest on himself. And, that is what makes an athlete tick is, their ability to respond when it's not when it hasn't been going right.
Yeah, that's what makes us different. Because I just like
you fold like a lawn chair. Is that
I don't fold like a lawn chair, but as we all know from the Dylan Cease thing that happened at FanFest, I definitely panic and freak out real quick. I do that for sure. We're going to talk about the Yankees beard thing in the Big Five because that has changed. But I wanted to ask you about the ABS system that you saw today, and mostly like you guys were talking about, which you and Jesse were great today. The gravity conversation was amazing. I mean, you guys are my type of show. I call you a show because you guys are a show during a baseball game. But Jesse figured out somehow. I didn't catch the first part,
funny.
But Seattle has less gravity than Miami does, which is insane to me.
Well, I think he was saying the closer or the further away you are from the equator, the more gravity is. And he was saying that Seattle and Miami are the furthest north and furthest south. And so, that's how the conversation got rolling. We're talking about I didn't know where he was going there for a minute, but
Seattle has more gravity, Tyler.
I was able to participate at least a little bit.
Well, when he got into gravity, I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble because I'm trying to follow something that's like physics, and we all know about physics."
That is what you may get during a spring training broadcast.
My favorite, I think, from last year was when you guys had the whole conversation about Star Wars and no one knew anything about Star Wars. Like, you guys were like, I don't even know what movie to start with.
It hasn't been, that wasn't Jesse and I's thing during our era.
No. It was a little bit before your guys' era, just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit. And my brother-in-law is loves Star Wars.
Really?
Yes, big time.
Oh.
And I can't participate. Sorry, man. I don't even know what I'm looking at right now.
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. Well, whatever. But the ABS system, I was telling Nick earlier that it feels like this is going to be a part of the season. It's not. Is that going to be weird for players, or are they just really just experimenting with this whole thing, this entire spring training?
The players don't care. I think they ultimately are going to do what they're asked to do, but they will forget about ABS pretty quickly once the season starts. But eventually, there's a reason why we're seeing it. Eventually, it's going to be a part of the whole thing, and so I think it's good theatrics, man. It really is. Like, everybody look at the board, and we're all watching as the ball comes in. Oh, it's just 6 inches below. It is a ball. It's good theatrics. Jesse and I were just messing around before a game. We were determined, or we were positive that there would be 2 challenges pretty quick. We thought Manny would be the one that made both challenges too, but it turned out he was swinging. He wasn't worried about any challenges.
Yeah, he wasn't at all. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, today's game.
I said this to Jesse on air too. I said I do think the umpires are going to relish the moments when their call is like right. Especially the two calls today were close. I mean, he called a ball on a pitch that was, according to the thing, was 0.06 inches below the zone.
That's crazy.
And like my man challenged it. I know if it was me and it challenged my call, and I look up and I'm like, I'm that good. It was like that close, and I still got it right. Oh, I'm definitely gonna like talk some, you know what?
Trash. You have to, because everybody always trash talks the umpires.
Are you kidding me? Like it was. I thought it was good theatrics. It wasn't anything that I felt was too slow. Hey, look, you spelled my name right today. Good job,
Yes, I did.
man.
You're welcome. You're
Very,
welcome. It's
very,
not
very
Gin and
nice.
Chris today. It's actually Gwyn and Chris.
Gin and Chris.
Yeah, Gin and Chris.
That might be a new mix right there. A new drink that we don't know nothing about yet.
Oh, that would
Gin
be
and Chris.
someone who owns a bar. You have a new drink. It's called Gin and Chris. Too bad I can't drink it, but I'm sure Tony will have one if you ask him to.
Nah, but I think the ABS is gonna be. It'll be interesting. I'm dying to know at some point. Do teams start to have a strategy behind it? I know in the minor leagues last year, AAA pitchers were not allowed to challenge it. It was only catchers and hitters that were allowed to. It's because pitchers are very emotional. If you watch them, they think a lot of things are strikes. I think everything is a strike most of the time. So
yeah, when you said they're going to have one guy on the team that's just not allowed to challenge,
you're not allowed at all.
The first person that came to mind was Madison Bumgarner when I heard that. I was like, that's the guy.
For sure.
He would challenge
be
everything.
asking for every pitch. Like, hey, Madison, you don't even have any more challenges at this point. You still asking for challenges, man.
I know. That's a good question I had earlier. What
Is there a penalty
happens?
to that?
Yeah, is there a penalty? It's not like calling a timeout.
I mean,
when you don't have them.
I think no, I don't think so. It would be hard to believe that they give a ball because somebody asked for it. Like the umpire should know that you don't have any challenges either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't go look if you know he ain't got a challenge. Like it's pretty simple. Like I can see timeouts right in the flow of the game and like the heat of the moment somebody calls, you give it to them, right?
Yeah.
I could see you not keeping track, but a challenge, I mean, it's like you get two of them. You'd be able to keep track if you use two.
You know that there's one guy in the dugout that's not paying attention, and he swears they had one more challenge left.
Or you know there's going to be teams that are like, no, we only used one. We only used one.
That is true. There's going to be some gamesmanship here.
I'm sure. I think it'll be good. I think when it comes, by the time it gets to Major League Baseball, they will have ironed out whatever kinks they needed to, and I think it'll be good. It's not something that I'm like gonna lose sleep over that it's coming to Major League Baseball based on what I saw today. I mean, it wasn't like it stopped the game for a long period. And listen, I think today was probably going to be one of the slower days. They're still trying to figure out how to get it on the board. For like the first two times they cut to the board, it was like a camera that was like on the ground that was looking in the stands, and so they cut to it twice. It didn't come up, and then finally the third time they got it to click on, and it's like, you know how you're watching the U.S. Open and there's a ball close to the.
Yes, I love.
It kind of looked like that. It just kind of the ball comes in, and it's like, oh, it is a ball, man. All right, you got it right there.
Whenever I think about disasters like on a video board, I think of Chris going, oh, 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 when he's feeling like he's lost control of technology. Chris is not here today, so I can take shots at him.
Yeah, not here to defend himself. Here's Scraby doing his best Scraby version right here.
Yeah.
Let's get to break. I believe we have Gwyn versus the fans next.
We are not going to do that today. We're going to put Daily Gambit there, but we do have some prizes to give away. So we'll do Daily Gambit when we get back.
More Gwyn and Chris on the other side. 5 o'clock here in Arizona, 4 o'clock there, and it looks like sunny San Diego.
It's hot today.
It looks like it might be a little toasty. You don't have a long sleeve on or a sweater going with the.
It's about to happen. It's about to happen.
The black collared shirt. Collared shirt 176 of the same color. Correct?
Yeah. Actually, this one is actually one of the older ones because you can kind of tell it's fading the black, and so I think I need to retire it now that I'm looking into the camera.
I got some off blacks in my
when you say
closet as well.
when you say off black, that means that they just faded.
Yeah, that's my version of that's the different. It's not a faded. It's an actual color.
You know what? That is
black.
a great way. When someone says, "Hey man, your shirt's faded," I'll be like, "No, it's just off black."
No. It's off black. This is a new color. You don't have to have off white. Like it's not quite white. Yeah, this is off black.
Yeah.
That's how I.
Yeah, stop making fun of my shirt.
Nonetheless, we do have a daily gambit for all our gamblers out there that you might be able to participate. I don't know how these bets went, but did I get some bets in yesterday?
Yeah, you were here yesterday, right?
All right. Well, then
yeah, you were there. Yeah, we
let's,
definitely did.
Let's see how this daily gambit went then.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwyn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwyn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Just a few things from the chat. Gonzo has
I was about to say, what are you smiling about in the chat?
Gonzo says, if at any time in the future we're lacking dope content, could we do Chris versus the Vans and have Ello with a bucket of baseballs smashing a van? I don't know why you thought about that, Gonzo, but that would be hilarious.
That's
to
a
me.
random thought.
Yeah. Also, they said my shirt's not black. I know. Jacob
It's
said
off black. We just went over this.
Elston would be ashamed. Yeah. Craig Elston does take shots at my shirts because I only wear one color, which is fair because it's true.
I don't know if Craig should be shooting shots with the shirts I see that cat on when I walk into the office. Hey, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he has lots of shirts.
He has an eclectic style of shirts. Let's just say that.
Yes, he has an eclectic style of shirts. But anyway, I'm going with off black, and I'm never wearing this to work again. So that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen.
Oh, by the way,
yes,
I have another theory. You know, we had a conversation about Major League Baseball opting out of the deal.
Oh yeah.
I heard another theory today from our man Jesse that I thought was, I don't know why I didn't think of it. It was pretty. It's like right there.
That's cool because
we'll discuss it a little bit later. I'll discuss it with
because I dug deep into this ESPN MLB split, and I'm curious because anyway, we'll talk about it. Last night, USF Dons minus 15.5 over Pacific. We all chose the Dons. The Dons did win 71-58, but they did not cover. So the Dons let us down 13 points. The Tritons, on the other hand, they were minus 12.5 against Cal Poly. We all chose the Tritons. UCSD did win, and they won by 14. So we get that one, 81-67. Now, the hockey game last night was, well, it can't be awesome because the Americans lost the game. But
no, we did lose, but I got this right. I told y'all.
Oh, yeah. The bet was over under 5.5 goals total in the game. Chris and I went over. Tony went under, and it was 3-2. So 5, obviously.
Yes.
Awesome game, though, I will say.
Great game.
Really disappointed that the U.S. had
You could tell neither side wanted to lose that game.
Oh yeah.
Like they were playing like.
Yeah.
They were playing like it mattered. That's just
yes,
the easiest, simple way to say it.
Yes, and when I'm a little disappointed over time, the U.S. team did get like 100 shots on goal, and none of them went in. They were making the Canadian goalie was making amazing saves,
save after save,
just amazing. But who was the guy? Oh, it was Connor McDavid who scored the game-winning goal. So
he's the Oiler, right?
Yeah. Tkachuk was in there. I was proud of myself for knowing Tkachuk. It's all because of Chris. TKACUCHUK. But
yeah, that's a doozy.
We'll talk about the game a little bit in the Big Five because Justin Trudeau tweeted something right after the game that I find interesting. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Knicks.
We'll touch on it.
-12 against the Bulls last night. We all chose the Knicks. I should have went with the Bulls like I wanted to. Knicks win 113-111.
I feel like Chris talked us all into the Bulls.
You know, we can't listen to his stuff. He's always disrespecting the Bulls.
You might have fallen for it. I didn't. I picked the Knicks because I thought they would win by that much, but apparently they didn't.
No, the Bulls are a better team than Chris gives them credit for.
The next team did, though.
Lakers, baby, -1.5 at Portland. You guys chose the Lakers. I chose the Blazers. And I guess I need to start picking opposite of the Lakers from here on out because they win 110-102. Now, this next one, LeBron James, 42.5, over-under, points plus rebounds plus assists. You guys went over. I went under. He went over he had 52 total. He had 40 points.
40 ball.
8 rebounds, 4 assists. And
you know what? Listen, I have grown over time to appreciate LeBron much more than I did when Kobe was still playing. And I tell you what, dude, this dude is 40 years old, and he, on a consistent basis, is playing harder than anybody else on the court. Like consistently at 40. That's hard. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody play at this level and actually like out there competing. Like it's like he wants to play hard.
JJ Redick after the game had a really good way of putting it when he basically said he's a billionaire and he's out here playing back-to-backs after 20 years in the league. Like, this dude cares a lot, and I will give him credit for that because it's easy not to care when you're a billionaire.
What did he say that young people are going to say he's doing? Glazing or something like that along those lines?
I don't know. I hate that word so much. I hate that word so much.
He was funny on that, though.
Yes, he was. I've enjoyed JJ Redick's press conferences this season.
I like JJ, man. I saw him snap on an official yesterday. It's vicious too. He's got like a real snap to him.
He does. And
I've seen him chew on the players, man. I have really enjoyed. I know Chris didn't like when my man at UCLA did it. And quite frankly, if you look at how he did it versus how Patino and these guys, he was actually much nicer. Like, he wasn't like yelling. He was just kind of having a conversation with the media. Say, yeah, my kids are delusional. I don't know, they think they're better than they actually are right now.
I think in this day and age, go ahead, sorry.
They responded, but so did I don't know if you saw the clip of Rick Pitino chewing his team out.
Yeah, I did.
They responded. I like that. Sometimes you got to be coached up. That means they can't just tell you it's not all, peaches and rainbows and everybody's, happy. Like it's not doesn't always work. Sometimes you got to get it. You got to get it right in the face.
I agree 100% with you. The delusional stuff I think was so shocking because we don't talk to people like that anymore or about people like that anymore. And definitely not publicly and definitely not about college players.
You can't tell me that when everybody heard it, there was at least everybody who was at least, close to our age was like, yeah, I can see that being true.
Yeah. Yeah, me and you, we see things the same way, Tony, in that regard, for sure.
Yeah,
Delusional. All right, South Carolina women last night, they were 41.5-point favorites over the Sauce, or Arkansas, and I chose South Carolina. You guys chose the Sauce. South Carolina won, but they only won by 40. 95-55. Needed one more basket to win the bet. That's crazy. That is insanely good on the spread or on the odds makers.
these people. I mean, I don't know. I would love to meet one of the odds makers, just randomly. How are you pulling it? Now, probably they got AI doing it now, but I'm just saying before we had AI, somebody was coming up with, or people were coming up with these lines.
They're probably going to tell you, oh, well, we already know the result of each game, so
God,
I know where to put the line at. All right, real quick, good college basketball this weekend, Tony, and the first game is number 6, Tennessee at number 7, Texas A&M. Texas A&M 2-point favorites in this one.
Who was it, A&M and who?
Tennessee.
Ooh, give me Tennessee.
I'm going to go with Tennessee as well. You're the only 10 I see now that we have to say that every single time. I did make. I never told it because Chris was here.
Was that Ella who brought that one?
Yes, but I never said it because Chris was here and I knew he would never let me forget about it. But I did get dared to do that back in the day at a bar, and it fell as flat as you can imagine. It fell.
God, you actually did it?
My friend goes.
First of all, how much did you get paid to do that?
I didn't get paid anything.
Oh, it was just a random.
When I was a drinker,
bet?
yeah. When I was a drinker, if you were to bet me to do something, I would take you up on that bet because I had beer muscles. So I walk up to her, and I'm like,
I've never heard that before. Beer muscles, huh?
And I said the 10 I see, you're the only 10 I see line, and she literally laughed and turned around.
Wait. Like one of these laughs, ha! And turned around?
Yeah, ha! I can't believe I actually just heard that.
Oh, wow.
But, hey, I did it, and it's all good.
You had your beer muscle, so it didn't even matter.
I did. Iowa State, number 8.
That's brutal.
It was fun for my friends, okay? Because they never let me forget about it.
What a friend.
All right, next one. Iowa State. 8th-ranked team in the country at Houston, 5th-ranked team in the country. Houston, a 12.5-point favorite. I'm going to go with Iowa State. Tony?
Yeah, that seems high. I'm going
to
go with Iowa State, too.
Oh, you're with Iowa State.
Yeah,
Oh, and you're actually number T, or letter T, not Chris. Kentucky at Alabama. Alabama, 9.5-point favorites, Tony.
I'm going to say Kentucky keeps that under, too.
Kentucky. I'm gonna go Alabama. They've been pretty good lately. Now, this one is kind of interesting. BYU just crushed Kansas. Just crushed them by 20 or more points, maybe even 30. But they are playing Arizona in Arizona tonight, and Arizona is a 7.5-point favorite. I'm going to go with BYU coming off of crushing Kansas. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, no, I'm going Arizona. They're going to blow BYU out.
Even though BYU just blew Kansas out?
Kansas is not good.
They're still ranked. Don't tell that to the voters.
I know.
All right.
Not good.
That's it for the Daily Gambit for today.
All right, let's get to break. Where you want to go when we come back? Oh, we got no, we don't.
No, we're gonna have the Big Five in a little bit. You know what?
How about we talk about Mr. James, LeBron James?
I put it in there. Yes,
40
we could talk
ball.
about him. We could talk about
Gwyn and Chris on the other side. Here's some traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Tony Gwyn Jr., Chris Ello, not here. Matt Scraby is, though. 419 back in San Diego. LeBron James, 40 ball last night in Portland. Second night of a back-to-back. My man put up 40, and he didn't look tired at all.
He didn't. He did not look tired. He's a freak of nature, as we all know.
Yeah, no, he is. AR, Mr. Austin Reeves, had himself a nice game as well after getting ejected the night before and costing us a game. I will say that.
Oh.
He got ejected, dropped one too many F-bombs for the referee, got the heave-ho, cost us, came back the right way. Portland has been a tough place for the Lakers to play over the last few years.
Even though
last night it wasn't.
I was going to say the Blazers have been really bad though for the last year.
They actually played well the last year or two there, but prior to that, it was a long time since the Lakers had beat one in Portland. But they've been better as of late.
I know I give LeBron a hard time, but last night that showed me that he still cares a little bit about the game of basketball.
Little, come on, you ain't never been able to say that LeBron doesn't care about basketball.
Well,
you might
what
have
happened
had
with the All-Star game?
Yeah, I was about to say you might have had a beef with how he handled not playing the All-Star game.
Or the dunk competition his entire career.
No, that's everybody. I mean, listen, I would have liked to see him in it, but he ain't the only one that didn't participate. Like, why does it fall on him? There have been plenty of stars, especially that came around the same time. I didn't see them jumping in either. So
fine.
I'm just saying, LeBron. I think you have a legitimate gripe about how he handled the All-Star game. At least not letting them know, and he may have had his reasons for doing it or not doing it or whatnot. But other than that, like, the dude plays hard. Like, he's never questioned him playing hard. Never questioned how much he cared about winning. I mean, that's clearly at the top of his list.
Yeah.
So I mean, the same thing that we usually praise a lot of guys for, I think should go that way as well.
How much longer do you think he can actually do
I don't
this?
know. The funny thing about Father Time,
it's undefeated?
Besides it being undefeated, because that's not really all that funny. It's kind of cruel that it's undefeated. I think the funny thing about Father Time is it can just show up at your doorstep, like tomorrow.
Cooper Cup?
Yeah. Well, I don't
Kinda
don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not saying he's washed.
I know you didn't say
Father.
that.
He still was pretty productive in the playoffs. I saw.
Okay, what about Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to, you have to at least be thinking it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could kind of sort of see that he's lost a little bit.
That's the thing is Father Time can just show up. Like, I think about Kobe. The thing that made Kobe's easier to swallow was that he had an Achilles injury that kind of, it kind of ran together. So it wasn't like he was healthy one day and all of a sudden he just didn't have it. That's the only thing that scares me about LeBron is that, like, he's 40 and he's playing at this unbelievable level. But what does it look like? One day it could just show up. That could be like literally Saturday when they play the national team. Like, it could show up, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the tough part about. And I enjoy watching older athletes have the kind of success that you see LeBron having, you see Tom having. I think it's motivating, right? But man, they could just in one day. It happened to Tom, right? I mean, he looked pretty good the year they went to the Super Bowl.
He did.
And then it stopped looking like all of a sudden he starts, man, like, he don't look like he can get the ball there.
Now he's got a noodle arm. Noodle. Right? It's funny, I called him noodle arm like 6 years before he actually retired.
You've kind of seen it in some ways with Russell Wilson, right? Like, just overnight, it just seemed like he got older.
He did. He doesn't look as quick.
Like, even when he gets off, like, into the, like, he breaks the line and he's off and run, like, the defensive linemen be catching up to him now. Like, they're like snatching him from, like, so that's the thing that scares me about LeBron. But last night was fun to watch. He did his thing. I think he caught another body. For those who don't know what that means, dunked on somebody again.
Caught another body. I like that.
Yeah, that's basketball lingo.
I love it.
But yeah, good night for the Lakers. 40 ball for the old man.
Good for him.
Gray beard. Yes.
Good for him.
What was the other thing you had?
Yeah, we were talking, or you were listening to a clip from Digging Deep.
Oh,
Eric
you
Hosmer's
should play that for.
podcast.
I think our listeners would enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on the YouTube because years ago I was on post game for this game. This
I think
specific
we
game.
probably talked about this game for like 2 days after this happened.
Yeah, because it was so egregious what happened. Doug Eddings is the guy we're talking about here. And here's Eric Hosmer and Will Myers. I'm not sure who the middle guy is. Do you know who he is? I'm sorry.
The middle guy. It's Mike Moustakas.
Mike Moustakas, that's it.
It's Mike Moustakas on Digging
Deep, and they're talking about that very game when Doug Eddings.
This is good. This is good behind the scenes stuff here.
It is good behind the scenes stuff. I need to put it up here, and we're ready to go.
Doug Eddings calling 3 balls that were strikes on you.
Dude, Doug Eddings. I mean, and the thing about Doug Eddings, man, I thought me and him liked each other, bro.
2-2. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You are horrible.
It's a slider down and in. It's just unbelievably bad.
So this game, obviously, we had like 22 missed calls. It was something crazy.
Insane. It was insane.
So Manny just like strolls like it was Manny stroll in between third and home. It gets like 10 feet from home and just goes on one knee and starts.
Calls time. He's like, time.
Unties and ties his shoe and just staring at him the whole time as he's doing it. And we're all just standing there. We're like, damn, Manny, this is a boss move right now.
Yeah, Bill was trying to hurry Weathers up, and Manny's like, no, you're not doing that. Dude, it took like 2 minutes to tie his shoe, bro. It was awesome.
Dude, unbelievable.
It was awesome.
That was awesome.
I thought that was funny. Fun to listen to, because I remember the game. Doug was having one of his typically bad Doug days.
Bad Doug days.
This wasn't the same day that he said, that's enough,
no,
Trace.
I believe it is because I was
Is it
on
the same day?
I was on
Okay.
the post game for it, and yeah, Jace Tingler was yelling from the dugout. He's like, "That's enough out of you, Trace." Let me go look and see if I even have the clip.
Oh man, I thought that was. And by the way, that is a boss move right there. Like you, first of all, Weathers is a young pitcher at the time. He might have been his first full season at the big league level.
This was what, 2021, 2021, I think.
It was somewhere around there because he had just pitched in the playoffs, the 2020 playoffs the year before. So this is his first time going through the cycle as a big leaguer, and yeah, he's being rushed by Doug Eddings because he's doing that to a rookie dude he knows is not going to probably be able to deal with it. And so Manny, fully aware of what's going on, walks down the line, calls timeout, and proceeds to tie his shoe for like 2 minutes. Meanwhile, he's staring right at Doug Eddings the whole time. And it was funny because there was just nothing that Doug could do at that point. Because, I mean, his shoe is untied. He's tying it up. You already gave him the time, right? I mean,
Yep.
I guess he could have tried to force it. At this point, there's no pitch clock, no real
that's
pitch
true.
clock.
That's
so,
true.
so what was he going to do at that point?
Yeah, nothing.
That's enough, Trace.
Hey, I found it. Whoever was on the board this day, I think it was our guy Thomas from back in the day. Here is
He
that
clipped
whole.
it?
Yes, and it's still in our system. Here it is.
2-1 pitch on the outside corner for a strike. 2-2 to Myers as the zone is expanding like a balloon here in the middle innings.
It's only on the left side of the plate.
You can tell from there. You got one warning, no more, Trace.
Somebody has been told to be quiet.
And then he goes on later. He's like, "That's enough out of you, Trace."
He called him Trace twice.
That's messed up, man.
Trace Thompson from the Dodgers at the time was playing. I guess that's who he was referring to when he was talking to Jace.
That's that's maybe an ego blow when you think about it later on down the road that he didn't know the manager's name. You know, Jay Stigler's probably like, "Come on, man, I'm the manager. You got to know my name."
I literally walk the lineup card out to you every day.
Yeah, well, thanks for the lineup card, Trace.
All right, let's get to break. Big Five on the other side. More Gwyn and Chris.
Gwyn and Chris on the
no kidding. I know I had teased it a little bit about an opinion that, or I should say a thought about ESPN, Major League Baseball opting out that I didn't think of until Jesse brought it to my attention today. And I promise you, 49 minutes ago, Andrew Merchant kind of is on the same lines. He wrote an opinion piece about it in The Athletic. We'll get into it at 5 o'clock, but, you know, for everybody who participated in that conversation yesterday, and I know there were some thoughts about what Prime can do, I think there's something even probably more telling at stake.
Interesting.
I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it at 5 o'clock. We do have a Big Five.
Yes, we do.
Before a Big Five, we've got traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by ExtremeRoofs.com. We still have this crash on the Mesa College off-ramp, northbound 163, and getting a stalled vehicle out of lanes, northbound 5, right around Carmel Mountain Road. Watch out for a bicycle on the transition ramp, east 8 at the southbound 805 connector. The rain season has arrived, and if your roof is leaking or you're finding asphalt shingles in the backyard or the side of your house, call family-owned Extreme Roofing, serving San Diego for over 25 years, 619-334-ROOF. And Kelly Danick with Gwyn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Remember to listen at 5:30 or between 5:30 and 5:35 for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan in order to potentially have your name called. Now, before we get into the Big Five, Tony, there's something that is incredibly controversial in our YouTube chat on a daily basis. And it's nothing bad. It has to do with the break music I put in there. It always elicits many different opinions. And currently, I have an 80s themed Stranger Things break. Nate Taylor says not a fan of this 80s movie collaboration. Are you a fan of the Stranger Things feel, Tony? Have you seen Stranger Things?
I'm not a fan of the show, no.
Okay. So you would be the one on the...
I had a pair of Stranger Things Cortezes, Nike Cortezes that I had that you could like kind of rip off the first kind of layer and
goes into the upside down?
Layer. Yeah, I got a pair. It doesn't go upside down, but different.
Well, no, the upside down is in the show.
Oh yeah, no.
That's the other dimension.
Got you.
Yeah. Although they're trying to get to this final season, it's been like 3 years since season 4. I can't wait any longer, Stranger Things. Let's go. Nate says, Tony knows what's up. All right, here we go.
Number 5.
Just because Tony says it, guys, doesn't mean that he knows what's up. All right, the Red Sox kicked off their season today with a game that is played annually, apparently, between the Red Sox and Northeastern University. Tony, do you find it weird that they play a college team?
No.
Really?
It used to happen all the time. Yeah, it used to happen all the time. I mean, the Padres used to play San Diego State all the time. In 1998, the Yankees played San Diego State at Tony Gwynn Stadium.
Wow.
So this used to happen a lot. Yeah.
I didn't know it used to happen a lot.
It used to happen. It used to happen a lot more frequently than it does now. Like the local college team would face, because remember before everybody was like
Oh,
15
yeah.
teams are in Florida.
Yeah.
15 teams. You're trying to get games, right?
Yeah,
and so,
true.
yeah, that used to be a thing that happened all the time.
I wonder if teams would ever consistently lose to the college teams. They would have to win every time, right? The pros, they're just that much better.
It's baseball, dog. Yes, they usually would win, but how many times you see a dude go down for a rehab start and get, slapped all over the place, balls going everywhere.
It's true.
So,
Fine. You're making too much sense right now, and I don't like it. I just think it would be fun if I was Northeastern University. If I was a kid that played for the team, I'm going to play the Red Sox in Little Fenway or whatever it's called.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, why wouldn't you want to
Oh, I
test
would
yourself?
definitely as a Northeastern kid. I'm surprised Rafael Devers didn't say well, I don't play against college kids.
Why would he say that, Scraby?
I don't, because he refuses to move positions. I'm actually on Rafael Devers' side.
So that would make him not want to play?
Yeah, I'm actually on his side, so I'll just drop it right there.
Number 4.
M. McKee says, if Tony doesn't know Star Wars, can't expect him to be a fan of Stranger Things. Fair point, M. McKee. Fair point.
That sounds accurate to me.
Yep. The Yankees are going to do away with their no beard policy days after Devin Williams showed up to camp defying the no beard policy with a 5 o'clock shadow. He actually has this in his Yankees pictures. Hal Steinbrenner said he talked to current and former Yankees stars and said it's time to do away with the rule created by his dad, George Steinbrenner, in 1976. Steinbrenner also mentioned they did this so players in free agency wouldn't shy away from signing with the Yankees. I'm up first. I have this question, and I've been thinking all day, and I wanted to change it, but I didn't, so I'll just ask it. What's the next dumb rule in sports they should do away with?
You going first?
You go first. I got nothing. I've been trying to think all
Before
day.
I do that, shout out to Cameron Maybin. I think maybe it might have been last year, might have been 2 years ago. He said this and got just crushed on X. He tweeted it, and here we are, however many years later, or time later, a little bit of time later, and now they're getting the rules off. So I'm gonna say he put that in the air and he got it rolling for those dudes. The next stupid rule, gosh, there's some stupid rules too. Let me think. I know there's one.
I also remember, Chris, while you're thinking, Chris also called me crazy when I said that people wouldn't sign with the Yankees because of the beard policy, but Hal Steinbrenner just said.
Dudes, they have definitely lost out on some free agents in the past because of that stupid rule. Gosh, I can't think of one right now.
I know. This is why I wanted to change it.
I'll get to one. There's some definite dumb ones out there that we just aren't thinking of right now.
Yeah, you know what I'll change is Debo walking out of the 49ers locker room with that stupid boombox. Get that out of here.
You ain't got to worry about it anymore because Debo ain't going to be a 49er after this offseason.
That is true. Rob says you can't dunk on the goalpost is stupid.
That is a stupid rule. You know what another stupid rule is? You can't hang on the rim during warm-ups in high school.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's stupid.
That is stupid.
If you're going to be doing it in the game anyway, just let these kids dunk. Now, I guess it could be a rule because you're worried about somebody actually bringing a backboard down. But unless you got some Shaqs in the building, let these kids do their thing during warm-ups.
Rod says allow steroids in baseball. I didn't read that part, actually. And the steroid-era players should be considered for Hall of Fame. Change that rule. I agree with that.
It's not a rule to change. Yeah. It's just some people keeping their own rule book to themselves, I guess.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a stupid one.
All right, well, I wish I would have come up with something, but we'll figure it out.
Number 3.
Now, the Cincinnati Reds are going to begin their 2025 Cactus League schedule with a pair of split squad games on Saturday. One game at their spring training home in Goodyear against the Guardians and the other against the Brewers in Phoenix. First-year Reds manager Terry Francona said he'll be heading to Phoenix instead of facing off against the team he managed from 2012 to 2023. Francona is going to be managing the other game because he said, quote, "These games need to be about the players. It doesn't need to be a hug fest. I want these guys to know how important they are. I'm a bleeping Red," end quote. The more I don't know anything about Terry Francona, but the more I know about him, that is a Terry Francona quote right there.
For sure.
the question is, Tony, do you think not going causes a bigger scene than actually going?
No, because nobody's there. I mean, yes, people will want to see him. Obviously, they share a complex, so there's that. The folks that are Guardian fans, they can see him pretty easily. Just show up to the field early, go to the red side. He'll be over there. Like, it's not like it'd be different if it was like regular season and he was skipping out going to Cleveland. That'd be different. This is Goodyear, Arizona. Like, this ain't the same thing. So, yeah, man, I don't blame you. And listen, the other thing is, it's a split. So one of them's going to.
So Terry Francona's going to Phoenix for the other game. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that's not that far. It's just like 15 minutes down the street. If you really, really want to go see him, you can go to the Brewers complex in Maryville, and see your guy Frank Core.
Francona. You kind of changed my mind, because I think when I first thought about it, like, all these questions are what would make it a problem. Like, oh, why aren't you going here? Like, people were going to ask why he's not facing off against his former team. But
nobody cares. It's a spring training game.
But didn't you hear the Padres won the World Series today?
Yeah, I know.
In my mind, they did, at least. Terry Francona is going to be interesting this year. I don't know how he's going to do with this Reds team. I mean, I know that he knows what he's doing, but
they're gonna be better than everybody thinks. Watch.
And Ellie De La Cruz maybe strike out less than 250 times this year. We'll see.
See if he takes his next step.
Number 2.
Back to the Lakers we go.
Back to the
Lakers we go. The Lakers are taking more and more heat for how things went down when they traded for Hornets center Mark Williams. Now, the agency that represents him is fighting back. Jeff Schwartz of Excel Sports Management said, quote, "The overwhelming sentiment after conferring with multiple nationally recognized doctors is that the Los Angeles Lakers should not have failed Mark Williams on his physical. Mark was ready and able to play for them and should have been given the opportunity." End quote. I'm up first. Did the Lakers fail him so they could get out of the trade? 1,000%. Once everybody was like, wait, you sent Dalton Connect for Mark Williams? Are you kidding me? And Rob Pelinka got a little bit of buyer's remorse on Mark Williams. He's like, you know what? I know this guy's got a bad back. Fail him. Just like that. He said, fail him. And then they failed him. And now Mark Williams is back where they hate him, even though they said that they love him, but the announcer did not love him. So, Tony, do you think your team is pulling a fast one on the rest of the league?
No, I do not. I think this is, first of all, I love the way you're phrasing this, that everybody, they're starting to taking more and more heat. They're taking heat from his agent, who, by the way, has to protect the client. Like, if it gets out that his client is damaged goods, it might hurt him down the line. So he's playing damage control right now, and why not take it out on the big, bad Lakers? I mean, we wanted the dude. Luka Doncic himself asked for him, this type of player. So I don't think we wanted to give him back.
Yeah.
I don't think, and listen, by the way, as much as I like Mr. Westside Connect, he's back to being Westside Connect too, since he's a Laker, buddy.
Lots of things are back to being the way they were.
But he ain't played all that great. So, I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. I think we wanted Mr. Williams. It didn't work out.
All right. I don't know. Shadiness everywhere with the Lakers organization, as always.
I assume that you think that they are completely pulling a fast one?
I think that there is some sort of
maybe
they did find out that his
games?
back maybe they did find out his back is a little bit worse than they thought. Or maybe
and so they were like, you know what, this is not worth it.
Well, I mean that voids the trade, right? If
that's
I mean
if the damage, you're sending me damaged goods.
Yeah, you can void the trade.
He go.
I just feel bad for
you
Mr.
want there
Williams.
to be some shenanigans.
I do. We got no shenanigans today. Where are the shenanigans for me?
Any. Why there don't need to be any drama all the time, man?
We got a couple seconds I can say with some of these rules that need to be changed. Clay in the South Bay says the unwritten rules are stupid. Very true. Very true. Can't stare down a pitcher.
I think we kind of perpetuate those in the media. I don't think the people actually playing
care as much.
They deal with it themselves. I don't think they care as much. Like you probably shouldn't stare a dude down who is throwing 105 and can punch you out. Like it's probably not a good idea to be staring him down. Now, if you take him deep and he can't control his emotions and he throws at you, I don't know that that's an unwritten rule. It's just an idiot that couldn't control his emotions that threw a baseball at you. That's
that was funny. Devin says starting pitcher must go 5 innings to get a win. Is it 5 or 6?
You want to change that?
Yeah, I guess make it less.
They want to change it?
Yeah, make it
Devin
less.
wants to change it?
Yeah, I guess so. Make it less.
Why? So you should get wins for like pitching 3/4 of a game? Or not 3/4, a quarter of the game?
No, you should pitch the majority of the game to get a win.
That's what to get a win. At least half.
Yeah.
I don't think we should change that one. I disagree with Devin.
The next one, and then we'll go to the final topic. Matthew says playing your golf ball out of a divot in the fairway. That one is kind of interesting.
I think you should be able to change that one.
You could drive your ball 395 yards down the middle and it lands in a divot.
On the fairway, and it's in a divot. Like that's ridiculous. Like I should be able to move it to the nice green patch of grass here.
Play it as it lies. Play it as it lies. I'm kind of with that one. I'm also I think the dress attire needs to be
I like some of these
changed.
ones that are I like some of these ones that Chad is bringing up. They kind of sparking my what's another one that's
I want golf to be able to change their dress attire. Like I don't care that they need to wear pants or collar shirts. People lost their mind when Jason Day wore sweats during a practice round. Like lost their mind.
What if your guy Rory came out there with like a Snoop Dogg shirt on?
That'd be awesome.
You want to see him like that? Oh, I could just see a whole bunch of people's heads exploding if he came out there
I could too, and then I'm going to be like, man, I really like Rory, but that shirt was just over the top yesterday.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would say.
Well, okay. Just not as strict. Not as stuffy in the PGA Tour.
Yeah, no, I get that.
We can continue with these as we go along.
Number 1.
All right, kind of sort of serious one, but it has to do with the hockey game from last night. Following Canada's 3-2 overtime win over Team USA in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posted a celebratory message on social media. It was also a clear reference to the rising political tensions between the two countries, the article said. I didn't write that. He tweeted, quote, I don't want people to get, because people are going to be like, you know what, there's not rising political tensions between the countries. You don't know what you're talking about.
My man Scraven got out of the way real quick on that one.
We've been doing this way too long, Tony. I know exactly how it goes. People hear what they want to hear.
He barely finished the sentence before.
Yeah.
I didn't write that.
I didn't write that.
Article.
I didn't write that. And this next thing I'm about to read, Justin Trudeau wrote. He wrote, "You can't take our country, and you can't take our game," which is a pretty strong statement, honestly. Definitely the first part. So, Tony, you're up. How much do you think the political tension increased the popularity of this Four Nations face-off?
I said it the other day. I think it had a lot to do with it, if not everything to do. I mean, these hockey players play hard all the time. I have never watched any hockey match that where both sides weren't like going as hard as they possibly can. So that's never been an issue with hockey. But you can't deny that, our president lofted the smoke, and it seems like it's being returned. The fire's being returned back now.
Yeah.
It was all good a week ago when USA was beating them down literally. It wasn't just on the ice. They was putting fist to jaw too. And now looks like the Canucks get the last word on this one.
They do. I asked myself, does Trump care as much as Trudeau cares? And I think the answer is no. I don't think that Trump I don't think Trump would be as excited to win the thing as Trudeau was excited to win the thing. So maybe it's more of a Canada versus America thing. And please, I am not making any statements about Canadians.
Sounds like you're making a statement about Canadians to me.
I'm going to ask Tony about one player that played for the Padres today that I had not heard of before, and he had a pretty good game. So we'll ask Tony about that on the other side. I'm not going to let Tony know until I ask him on the other side. So good luck, Tony.
Into the happy hour, the real happy hour. It's Friday. This is definitely a real happy hour. You guys could, assuming you're at home now.
Yeah.
Not in your vehicles.
Yeah.
We have a nice adult beverage. Or a DD with you as you head out elsewhere. It's the way to do it. Be safe out there. But it is happy hour. I'm just saying, on a Friday. So get to it.
You know, I don't drink anymore, and I love that I don't drink. But I do miss happy hours. I do, not necessarily the drinking part. The socialization on a Friday after work, that was awesome. Before radio, I worked downtown. We would always go to this place called The Local downtown, and I would get
I've heard a lot about The Local.
And there's one in PB now too, but
about The Local.
It's not as good as the one downtown. And I haven't also been.
It's
there
interesting
in years.
that The Local downtown. I always felt like it should have been in PB. It's like the perfect PB type bar, and so it makes perfect sense that now they have one open in PB now.
They do, but we used to go to The Local after work, and I would get my lobster tacos because they were on sale. I'm a creature of habit. It was lobster tacos and 2 sculpins every day.
No, you're a creature of habit? No
Yes.
way. I never thought that.
You gotta go. You gotta go to The Local though. It's a good place. Good place.
I've been there. That's why I knew that it's a very
Yeah, I missed you saying that.
PB-ish. Yeah, well, that's why I was saying that, buddy. Never mind. It doesn't matter. You wanted to talk about a Padre. What Padre is it that you
that caught my eye?
Or that caught your eye, or whatever it was you were saying?
Well, there was someone I opened up with the show. I didn't open the show with this person, but I did realize that they had a pretty nice day, and I've never really heard their name, and we haven't talked about this person coming into the season, but Oscar Gonzalez went 2 for 3 today, had an RBI, played right field. I'm not saying that he's going to take Fernando's job. I'm not saying he's going to make the team, but what do you know about him, Tony? He was on the Guardians a couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember him in the playoffs and the Guardians, and he had some moments in a series. I think they ended up losing in extra innings, but he might have got a big hit in one of those games. I think that kept that series going, if I'm not mistaken. I know he played a role in it. Listen, I think he's going to have as much opportunity as anybody else. I mean, obviously right now, Jay Hay, Connor Joe are all candidates. Not to say that it will end up being that platoon, but they line up well to be a platoon. But we saw Connor Joe, and I think Mike Shildt has gone out of his way to kind of make it known that they want to use Connor's versatility. They don't just want to pin him in left field. I think he can play some first base, as you saw him start there today. But I think in terms of Oscar Gonzalez, I think he'll have an opportunity. He'll have a chance to shine a little bit. I think there's good competition out there right now. I mean, obviously, no spot in right, no spot in center, left field. There's competition there. First base, there's competition. Maybe. I mean, it sounds like, as we talked about yesterday, Luis Ariz is going to play a good chunk at first base.
Yeah.
By the way, he definitely listens to the show.
Luis?
Or he saw some clips. Yes. Or he saw some clips.
Oh, no.
Of the show, for sure.
Why?
It's all good.
Okay.
I mean, thankfully, nobody said anything bad at this point.
What did he say?
But he brought up the fact that he heard us talking about the first base thing. And
that was a clip I put on Twitter last night, actually.
Yeah, that's probably how he saw it. But nonetheless, there's not a lot of competition. I mean, there's not a lot of spots available in terms of starting spots. I think the catching spot, I think there's going to be some competition there. I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion that it'll be Diaz and Campusano. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. They got 4 catchers that are going to legitimately compete. Martin Maldonado, Brett Sullivan in there, along with the 2 I named already. And then it's the pitching spots. You really have now a competition of a lot of guys for one spot in the rotation. And so, how does that shake out? We'll see. Today was the first day we got a chance to see.
Yeah, I saw Matt Waldron. I can't remember where I read this. It might have been in the media guide. But he said he watched every single one of his starts from last year, and he realized one thing, and that is that he needs to establish the knuckleball in order to use his other pitches. Because last year, I think, I can't tell you this for sure, but it seemed like he didn't want to be known as a knuckleball pitcher, and so he tried to use his other pitches. But he realizes now that his key is starting with the knuckleball and then working off of it.
No, I don't think that's accurate at all. But
really?
I think he, if you go back and look at the numbers, he definitely dove into being a knuckleballer.
Okay.
He has to establish the knuckleball, meaning he has to be able to throw it for strikes early because that allows him to use the other thing. When Matt was going good, he was throwing his knuckleball a lot, and he was most importantly landing it. He was able to get it in the zone because then that allows him to work that cutter, work the sinker, and it makes him, we saw, a really effective pitcher. And so, yeah, I don't know that he wasn't accepting that. I think the more he threw last year, the more we saw the knuckleball percentage rise. And I think when he ran into trouble in the second half, it was mainly because he stopped being able to command the knuckleball early in the count, which put him in a tough spot. I think his knuckleball, he lost some confidence in it in the back half of that, or the second half of that season last year.
Yeah, I can imagine that. When you don't have the feel for a ball that you don't know where it's going to begin with, it's got to be very, very scary for everyone involved. Let's see. So let's talk about beer. People are talking about beer since you said it was happy hour, Tony. Trevor says that he's drinking a Labatt Blue right now. I've never.
Blue.
It's the Canadian beer. It's a Canadian beer.
Oh,
I like the Labatt
right.
Blue. Someone else said that you must have known, Tony, that they were just sitting down to have a drink after a long week.
Yeah, man, it's Friday, man. Listen, I'm not, for those who don't drink, I'm not talking to you. It's all good.
Yeah.
Stay on your
You're
drink.
good. You're good.
But for those who do, Friday it's 6:00 my time, so it's beyond time to have a cold one. But for those who are sitting down right now, please have a sip for me right now.
Yeah,
it's just
for Tony.
Just making my mouth water thinking about a cold beer right now.
Do you have any in your place?
I don't. I'm trying to be good. I don't want to. I probably will have to go get one now since I'm talking it up like this.
We got some Mickeys on the chat.
Ooh, a Mickey.
We're getting into my college days right now.
I'm about to say that's a throwback right there.
I haven't even looked for a Mickey's in years. I don't even. They're still around. No.
There's a lot of good beer out there, and I'm just keeping it a buck. A lot of good beer.
Yeah. Like 394 Pale Ale, I heard is great.
Boom.
Never had it.
Yeah, don't want you to have it either.
Ryan says, Scraby, were you happy to see Wade get a start at short today? I'm assuming he's making fun of me when I picked Tyler Wade as my X factor of the Padres season, and you guys crushed me for it, even though that's where I thought we were going with the person that you thought we would never say.
I don't know what made you think that.
I just felt
we literally never said, "Hey, man, come up with somebody that no one would ever think of." Like we never said that.
Chris goes
ever said that.
Chris says Fernando, and you say Manny, and I'm like Tyler Wade. I hate you guys sometimes, but I was happy to see Tyler Wade in there. I like Tyler Wade. Okay.
T Wade is gonna play. T Wade is gonna play a vital role for the team. I just don't know that he would qualify for. What was the term?
X factor.
At the time? X factor. I don't know.
Well, I agree with you now that I know the parameters.
He could. If he does, that means somebody got hurt.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. All right, I'm stalling because I don't really want to get to our next story, but we should talk about our next story. And it's Justin Tucker. The NFL has officially launched an investigation into Justin Tucker. And so now it's getting to a point where there's over 10 people. I don't want to say a number because I don't know if it's correct or not, but there are multiple people in the Baltimore area that are saying that Justin Tucker exposed himself to them, didn't follow their directions. It's just not a good story, but that's the latest on that. So the league is looking into this, and I guess they have reached out to certain people that have made these claims, and they are also working with the attorney of these women that have made these claims. So
there's just a lot of weirdos out there, man. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, who does this? I mean, I know who does this. I know it's a stupid question. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it was a kind of talking out loud.
No, it was a rhetorical question. Everybody asked that question to themselves. Who does this?
It's bizarre. It's just bizarre to me. Like, man, I don't have any words for like the ridiculousness of this whole thing.
Rod says allegedly, which I should say allegedly. I should say allegedly.
It is. It's all allegedly. But I'm just saying, like, if it is true, weirdo.
Yeah, there's a letter that was written in 2015 from one of the massage therapists saying it according to the report, it was from 2015. It could be written anytime. But they are notifying their massage place that Justin Tucker is someone that they don't want to work with anymore, and they describe all of the things that happened, and it would be like, hey, don't move your arm and don't touch me, while I'm walking around the table, and then he'll touch them anyway. Or, hey, don't move the towel that's covering your private area, and then he'll move the towel, and then it will fall on the floor, and he'll be like, oops, my towel's on the floor, kind of thing. It's just not good either way around. But the NFL's looking into it, so we'll see.
Yeah, this just ridiculous. Yeah, well, hopefully, hopefully it's not. It's all alleged. But you get to what number are we at now?
It's over 10.
7,
16. 16.
Oh, I'm not even close.
In total, it says 16 massage therapists from 8 high-end Baltimore area spas have made these allegations.
Tana's start to go up at 16. It's probably started to go up before 16.
Yeah, and I don't know how you. I don't know how you can sit there while allegedly Deshaun Watson. They're like, you can allegedly sit there knowing what you did, and then see everything happening to Deshaun Watson and be like, I'm cool. Nothing's gonna happen to me. Like, I would be freaking out. I would be freaking out. Anyway, that's enough of
let's
Justin
get to
Tucker.
break. On the other side, ESPN, MLB, no longer in a partnership. We'll discuss on the other side. Good move, bad move. Here's some traffic.
From the 855 Center protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
6:20 on the clock here in AZ, 5:20 in San Diego. Talking MLB, ESPN. They broke up yesterday.
It's very sad.
It was presented as a mutual breakup. We don't actually know, though. And we
It's never
kind
mutual.
of we discussed, yeah, no kid. We discussed yesterday, good move, bad move. I know some of our listeners on the chat surmised that, prime may be the way to go. Got this feel today. I was talking about this with Jesse, and he brought up a great point that I don't know why I didn't think about. Who's to say that ESPN wasn't going to opt out the moment that deadline came? And maybe you're able to save face here by opting out before something you already knew was going to happen anyway if you didn't. And you can kind of spin it the way you want. That was, and I hadn't heard that. I was like, it's a great point.
Control the narrative.
Right. In essence, if it was already going to happen, at least you get to look, and your product doesn't look devalued. If ESPN is the one that opts out, why wouldn't everybody be like, why are they opting out? You start to look at how the local part of the game is kind of collapsing now in terms of how you're getting it to the consumer. That was this morning. Andrew Merchant, who writes for the
Marchand.
Marchand, excuse me. This is how he starts this article off. Either Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred has close to a $550 million per year alternative to ESPN, or he has committed sports business malpractice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On Thursday, ESPN informed MLB it was opting out of the final 3 years of a $550 million season or per season contract. MLB did a fine job presenting the opt-out as mutual, though something tells me ESPN would still be just fine for the league if the direct deposit of $550 million kept clearing. Because, and it goes on to say, because Manfred and his right-hand man, Noah Garden, have devalued MLB's national regular season product to such a degree with streaming deals, ESPN had no choice but to attempt to reduce its $550 million fee, which is what was said was going to happen.
Yeah.
One rival network executive told.
Oh, I love this. The anonymous rival executive
told Marchand it would be physically irresponsible to not opt out. So there's thought in the industry that ESPN was going to opt out anyway, even if MLB wanted to. So they take the power away by opting out themselves, presenting it kind of as, they're not really showing baseball as much. I mean, what's changed? There's no baseball tonight anymore. You have your own network that is kind of a piece of why they aren't showing baseball as much.
Yeah.
And so it opens up a huge conversation, right? In some ways, you've devalued it because you are streaming now, right? The local ecosystem has collapsed. And it just further makes it like, why in the world would the Dodgers, the Yankees, all the teams that have their own
the Red Sox
TV station, why would they give that up for free?
You wouldn't.
That just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Why would they give up that stuff for free? Like, even forget the baseball part, just from a pure business standpoint. Why would you give it up for free?
You never would. You never would.
I don't. And so this also, this also makes you think, like, what he must have an ace up his sleeve, because he's pushing for that as hard as I've seen him push for anything.
Well,
yeah. He must have something that is going to be compelling. That is like, yeah, okay, maybe we should.
I don't know, because I read a lot about this from many different opinions, and what they're saying is, like, ESPN is well within their right, because Apple pays $100 million per season for the one game. Roku pays like $10 or $15 million. ESPN is going to be paying $550 million. And so ESPN came back to the table like, hey, you made these deals.
Right, and that's what he's saying by devalued it. I mean, you made those deals, and you're getting $555 million from one network.
They did say that MLB had a pretty good answer for it. Sunday Night Baseball is a standalone game, so there's no other baseball games happening. Apple TV, there's baseball games happening. Roku, there's baseball games happening at the same time. So they don't have that one audience.
Can you tell me what the percentage cut is from 550 whatever million down to the what? You said the 100 million
for Apple?
What was it for Apple?
Are you asking
on a
me
game
to do
that's
math?
not? You know, it's better you than me.
I'm going using a calculator. 550. No, I'm just kidding.
Either way, my point is, it seems like a pretty huge pay cut for a standalone game versus a game that's being played. And by the way, it's a standalone game in the sense that no one else is playing at that time. There's other games on Sunday, by the way.
They also have the Home Run Derby. They also have the World Series, and they have the Little League game. So that's the whole package. That's why they're saying they're paying so much more.
Little League is involved in that somehow? How's Little
Remember
League
when they
Oh yeah. I got you.
Not Peoria, wherever the heck. Williamsburg.
Williamsport.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'll just keep saying Williams something until I figure it out. The thing I don't get about this is why can't each team just put together their own thing, sell it, and then kick back some to MLB? And I know that it's not that easy.
I think that's probably what all the teams want to do, but they don't have the mechanisms to kind of put it out there, you know, on their own, right? Because I mean, Padres and a few other teams, they're using MLB is the one that's kind of getting it out there, right? I don't know, you know. Obviously, the teams we talked about, they have the kind of the mechanisms to do. I don't know that all the teams have that, even though they want that. Like, how do you build out a local? I have no idea. I mean, it seems like it's difficult.
It does seem like it's very difficult, and it does seem like it's going to get much more confusing than it's going to get better anytime soon. But it's weird. ESPN is already trying to go all digital too. So that was another thing that was interesting because that's what Major League Baseball wants to do.
They have their own digital thing they're trying to launch here soon.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to need content for it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's slide away. Let's get to break. What did we decide? For our interview of the week.
We decided on, because UCSD is playing so well, we decided to give a little give some props to the UCSD team.
All right, let's get to break. On the other side, you get a chance to hear our interview of the week. More Gwyn and Chris.
For the first
Listen up, everybody. It is time for the biggest fan. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Allison Labor of San Diego. Allison Labor, give us a call back within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan, Allison Labor. Now, 10 minutes. 833-288-0973. It's Gwyn and Chris. I'm Scraby. Chris with the Aztecs women's basketball team. Tony in Peoria. And we talked about Terry Francona a little bit earlier, Tony. And we just got a news story about him. Oh, I don't know that we had to record something in the break. There he is.
Mic back up there?
Yeah,
Can
there
you
we
hear me?
go.
All right.
Yeah.
Boom.
But we talked about Terry Francona in the Big Five. But you had a story in the break about Terry Francona that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, apparently Terry Francona is going to opt out of the participation in the automatic ball strike challenge trial, but is willing to let his Cincinnati's minor league players accustomed to the procedure use the system. Now, why, you may be asking, here was his statement on it. He says, I'm okay with seeing our younger kids do it because they've done it. Francona said, it's not a strategy for MLB teams, so why work on it? I don't want to make a farce of anything, but we're here getting ready for a season, and that's not helping us get ready. Now, remember, ABS is not going to be used in any form at the big league level this season.
Yeah.
It may not be in next season. And so I see his point. He has a very, very young Cincinnati Red ball club that he is now managing, and he's trying to teach these guys a different way of going about it. And I think he's just removing a piece that won't be in a play this year to get these guys, I think what he feels is on the right track. So I get it. I get him not doing it. This is different than like a roster like the Padres have, where you got veterans that have been able to mix and match and deal with these different things coming at them. No harm, no foul there. But, I think from Terry's point of view, a much younger team, less experience. He's trying to remove any type of distraction that can help them for the season.
Yeah, at first I thought, that's such an old guy thing. That's such an old guy thing to do. Like, I'm not going to deal with these automated balls and strikes. Just like that. I don't know.
You had to say it like an old cowboy? Is that how you had to say it?
I don't want to deal with these whole balls and strikes system. My accents have been
silly,
good.
Dude.
My accents have been good this week. I guess I understand it, but
I mean, they're literally not doing anything with it this year. Like nothing. As soon as spring training is over, ABS will be forgotten about.
So what will you answer when I ask the Big Five question next offseason? Are the Reds behind because they didn't participate in the automated balls and strike system?
Of course you would connect those two things. And I won't be surprised at all if I get that question from you.
Because it's true. I mean, come on. They're going to be behind now. They're going to be behind. Tony, I think we got our biggest fan, so give me a second to answer just to make sure.
You do that. I'll update the folks who listen to us talk about Bobby Miller taking that 106-mile-per-hour fastball off his temple yesterday. We'll be happy to know no fractures. He's still in the concussion protocol at this point, but no fracture or significant bruising. I told you when we saw it, as scary as it looked like that ball kind of hit him. Don't get me wrong, it definitely hit him, but it didn't hit him square. Like that ball kind of ricocheted, spun his hat off his head. But listen, I know he's a Dodger. Certainly glad that that wasn't serious at all. Certainly, happy he's all right. In other news, Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the New York Knicks. Big matchup in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland says not so much, not so fast. 84-58 in the third quarter, 7:53 remaining. Cavs putting it on the Knicks at this point. We've gone over the fact that Hal Steinbrenner has removed the facial hair etiquette or facial hair rule or no facial hair rule that they had for a long time. You could have facial hair. You could have a mustache, nothing below the bottom lip, though.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even have the Fu Manchu joint going down. You had to go straight right at the top of the lip. That's where it ended. They got away with it.
This is a good thing. When I saw this morning, I'm like, why did it take so long?
I didn't understand why everybody in like the recent weeks were like so bent out of shape by the rule being. It's like the rule has literally been like this forever. I didn't hear anybody complaining at one point. But whatever the reason, it seemed to reach a fever pitch that it was high enough for Hal Steinbrenner to pay attention to it.
I think
to the point where he actually went around and started asking people about it.
Yeah,
according to him.
Yeah, I think it was because Devin Williams showed up to picture day with a 5 o'clock shadow because he does not want to deal with the beard thing. Now, am I saying?
Wait. Did that really happen?
Yeah.
He came with a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, he didn't say that he came because he couldn't grow a beard, but he did have pictures with his with stubble, which is like kind of crazy for a Yankee. But it's more than stubble. It's like in between a beard. It's in between a short beard and 5 o'clock shadow. So it's still facial hair.
Listen, I don't know about everybody else, but I kind of explained this. I'm sure shaving his face probably had his face all. And he considering that he had a beard for so long. Oh my God, the hair our curly hair trying to poke through again. Probably a lot of ingrown hairs. A lot of ingrown hairs, man. I'm sure that is was not cool. He probably had to let it grow out just so those bumps would go away a little bit. I've been there, man. Yeah. I've been there before. Listen, the Brewers had a no facial hair rule in the minor leagues.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't have facial hair. That's why my early pictures you only see me with a mustache. But my face was suffering, like having to shave that often. Oh my God, my rookie card, you can go find it. It's got I got hair bumps like all underneath my chin. It was like the first time I had to really shave in my life. It was terrible.
Were you on the show yesterday or the day when I was talking about my beard? I think it may have been Scraby's show, but I said I might. I was putting out there. I wasn't saying I'm doing this, but I might not shave until the Padres season's over.
I thought you were going to tell me you're going to fully shave, naked face.
I might do that too because it would shock people.
That would be a shock. You growing a beard that forever, that wouldn't be a shock. You coming in with a clean shaved face, I might fall out this chair.
You won't know. You'll be like, who's this guy in this room over here?
You should do it. You should do the full clean shaved face.
I told the story the other day, but it was my friend had never seen his dad without a beard. Ever in his entire 35 years of life at that time.
Scraby, do you have filters on this screen, dude?
No. What's wrong?
You sure?
I can't put filters. You guys keep saying I put filters.
It feels like my skin looks immaculate right now, and I don't usually look like this.
No, I have ghoulish-looking eyes right now, so there's no filter unless it's ghoulish filtered eyes. But anyway, my friend's dad walked down the stairs, clean shaved face for first time in 35 years. And their family lost their mind. They're like, who is this guy? His mom was even like, this isn't my husband. This isn't him.
That's that'd be a trip if you decided to go fully shaved, clean face. That would be a shock. All right, we got to get to. You gonna think about it for real?
Yeah.
All right. Remind me again, what are we doing here? I'm sorry.
UCSD's head coach Eric Olen.
Coach Olen joined us earlier this week. You'll get a chance to hear that here shortly. First, though, here's some traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a few problems here, guys. Stop on 15 before Adams Avenue. Stalled motorcycle in the center divide. They're trying to run a brake to clear that over to the right shoulder. Also, northbound 163, just past the 8. Watch out for a ladder in the slow lane. Up ahead, a crash clearing from the Mesa College off-ramp. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwyn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Coach Eric Olen joins us. University of UC San Diego joins us here, head coach of the basketball team. Coach Olen, how are you? Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Coach Olen, you guys are having a tremendous season this year. I mean, as you guys start to work in the summer to build towards the beginning of the season, what are your thoughts about your team going into that point? Because obviously you guys spend a lot of time over the summer getting prepared for the season into the fall. How did you feel about this team before the season started?
Yeah, we felt really good. We knew we had 3 really good players coming back, which this day and age in college basketball is pretty good. You just appreciate the ones you can keep. So we knew we had a good core coming back. We were excited about the guys that we had coming in. We felt like we had the right guys, that we felt like our fit was good. You always kind of have this idea of how things are going to work, and it's never exactly that. It's always a little different, and you got to get on the court to sort it out. But we felt like we had the right combination of skill sets and players, and it was just going to be, well, how quickly can we have it sort of gel and guys come together, and how quickly can we really start to play, close to what we're capable of. And, so we were confident in the potential. And then I think we've just been fortunate that it all sort of clicked pretty quickly, and you could feel pretty early on that, the way they play, the way their sort of natural inclinations to share the basketball, their just overall decision making, their collective IQ, all just really fit well together. And so we knew we had a pretty good team as early as this summer for sure.
Eric Olen has been at UC San Diego for many years here. In fact, you look at the 2020 season, 30-1 record that year, and then we know what happened in 2020 with COVID. But after that, Coach, you went to the Big West Conference with the eye towards, being Division I eventually and full-time. What did you do differently with your program, starting at that time to build up to where you guys are now, ready to, get into the NCAA tournament here in your first year eligible?
Yeah, the first couple years, the first year was sort of the post-COVID year. I think we played like 15 or 17 basketball games.
Yeah.
Just pretty abbreviated season. We had some players who decided not to play with all the things, so that year was just sort of survival for everybody and kind of keeping the things moving. And then from there in the next 2 years, I thought we really learned a lot about the conference. We learned a lot about, our core concepts are not that much different than what we were doing at Division II, but we've had to make some adjustments on the margins on really on both sides of the ball. And I think that those next 2 seasons, the first 2 full seasons in the Big West, we learned a lot about the league, the opponents, what are the things that we're doing that we want to keep and build on and be real kind of pillars of how we play the game, and then what are the things that we maybe need to tweak in order to be more competitive against the teams in the league. Some of that's how do we do a better job on the glass, right? Like UC Irvine's been kind of the standard in the Big West. They play 2 bigs, huge front court, do a great job on the glass. Some of the other league has kind of followed along because of their success. So now the league is pretty big. We play more small 5 out. How do we survive on the glass? What are some adjustments we can make that can not change everything we're doing, but just sort of fix or problem solve disadvantages? And I think the 2 years in the league, we sort of figured some of that out. It's been a little bit of an evolution, and I think we continue to progress there, and I think you're seeing some of that now in the last 2 years.
Coach Eric Olen joins us, UCSD Tritons men's basketball coach. And Coach Olen, you talked about the 2 years that you guys kind of had to learn the ins and outs of the Big West. It's one thing to learn and be able to take notes, but how difficult is it to then apply those things, and how easy or tough has it been to get the guys to buy into those things that you're trying to implement that are a little bit of a change from what you were doing before?
Yeah, well, so fortunately for us, we've got the right guys in the room, and I think that stuff starts with the right people, right? If you identify guys who kind of want to play the game the way we think about it in terms of unselfishly move the ball, just make the right play, take the right shot selection's important, taking care of the ball is important. If you value those things, you think about the way that we think about it, like then we're on the same page when you walk in the door. All that buy-in is so much easier, right? We're going to get to that so much sooner. because we have common ground in just how we think about it and talk about it. So we really try to learn about them and how they think about it and want to play the game. In the recruiting and evaluation process, and we'll sit down and watch film with them and say, like, hey, here are the things that you're doing that translate directly to what we do. We want you to do more of this when you get here. And then here's some things that maybe you're doing now that we don't think translate, and we're going to ask you to do less of or none of, right? And if they're open to that prior to coming here, then we feel good about where we're going to get to from a buy-in standpoint. And then that process leads us to the type of team that we have now where, we're smart, we're skilled, we're super unselfish. This is probably the best passing team I've ever been around. And I think that's part of why, we certainly feel like we're sort of collectively greater than the sum of our parts, because everybody fits really well. They're really self-aware. They know what their strengths are. They try to help their teammates get into positions of strength. And we don't beat ourselves. We control a lot of things that we can control.
Yeah, you see San Diego's 22-4, right? I mean, it's going okay, Coach. And I want to just go back. You guys had won 12 in a row. And then in early January, you hosted UC Irvine. And that was like the first big one, right? Everybody was into it, first place, the whole thing. And they were able to beat you that day. But now you come back, you've won 7 in a row. And in the return game up in Irvine a couple of weeks ago, you beat them handily by 18. I mean, you got to feel good about where you guys are, coming up right now. I mean, this is as they say, February into March is when you want to be playing your best. Sounds like you are.
Yeah, I do think we're playing really well. I think, Irvine's really well coached, really talented team. They're certainly at the top of this league pretty consistently. So we knew that was going to be a challenge coming in. I thought they had a good plan. They forced us into some things in the first matchup that we weren't as comfortable with. But it's something we learned from, and that's part of being a good team is continuing to get better. And this is a copycat type of thing, right? So once Irvine found something that worked a little bit against us, and we didn't shoot the ball as well, they dictated some of the shots that we weren't as comfortable with, right? Then everyone else starts trying to do the same thing, and so we find a comfort in that because we're seeing it consistently for a few games in a row. So when we cycle back to Irvine 6-7 games later, our comfort level with how to attack certain coverages or where shots are coming from against different defenses is significantly higher. And as a result, we kind of shoot the ball. We shoot the ball a little better. We play better offensively, and create some separation in that one. But a similar thing, like the game before we played Irvine, we played UC Riverside, who's the other team that beat us in the conference with similar type scheme. And so then like having that success against them just gives those guys confidence that, we understand how to attack different things. And, this is a smart group and we're playing really good basketball, but the exciting thing for us is that there are still some areas we can improve and continue to get better on the margins. And so we don't feel like we've actually found our best basketball yet. We're going to keep pursuing that. And hopefully that sort of lines up with, a few weeks from now.
Speaking of which, Coach, 6 games to go left in the regular season. You talked about improving on the margins. Where are some of those areas you want to see your ball club improve on as you guys come down the stretch run here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things in terms of, some of the stuff on the glass is something that's always an area where we can improve. We're not the biggest team. We're not the most athletic team. But both sides of the ball, I mean, in games where we've had less success, we have been hurt on the defense, on opponent offensive rebounding. So big emphasis there for us always. Our own offensive rebounding is an area where we could do a little bit better. I always feel like we can improve in terms of taking care of the ball, although we're pretty good there. We're also disruptive defensively. Like I think we have the best turnover margin in the country right now. So that's another strength for us. But it's really just some of the little things in how versus different coverages, there's like multiple solutions to how we might score, and we need different answers based on what's the coverage, what's the opponent personnel, which of our personnel is in different actions, and being able to apply different solutions throughout games, throughout possessions with different lineups that's the sort of detailed margin improvement that you might not notice if you're not really paying attention. But I think those are like the kind of the nuances of the game that you can really kind of steal a possession or two or get an easy basket if you can execute it a little better. And so those are the little things that we're, watching individual film with guys and just trying to help them execute on time. And, when things sort of line up, it's fun to watch.
UCSD is home Saturday, take on Hawaii at Lion Tree Arena there on the campus of UC San Diego. If you haven't seen these guys play, 7 o'clock Saturday night might be a good idea for some of you basketball fans to go out and check these guys out before they hopefully head into the NCAAs. That's what I'm thinking. Coach, I know that's what you're thinking. And I know what everybody else is thinking. How would you guys do against the Aztecs if you played them now? I'm trying to think of a good way to ask you that without pinning you into a corner. But people kind of have been wondering, who's got the best team right now, and you guys have been playing so well.
Well, I think that's a credit to our guys that people are asking that question. They're a great program and a great team, and they're having their own really good season. So just the fact that people are even asking that is a real compliment to the kind of basketball that we're playing.
No doubt about it. Coach, certainly appreciate your time coming on, man. Good luck the rest of the way. You got the city behind you at this point, and we're hoping nothing but the best for you guys.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, and we have felt that support. And San Diego is a great basketball community, and I think one that will support more than just the Aztecs. And so, we just feel like if we keep playing good basketball, that'll just continue and build. So we're excited about what's going on and even more excited about what's to come.
No doubt about it. Thanks, Coach Olen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Eric Olen has his UCSD Tritons looking real nice here come March. That's going to do it. Good week.
Yes,
Baseball
sir.
season is back popping here in Arizona. You guys are going to get a chance to listen to it every day.
Let's go!
That's right here, 97.3 The Fan. Scraby Chronicles up next. Scraby, what you got?
About the same thing I talked about the last 3 hours. No, we're going to have more fun, I think.
Well, enjoy, my friend. Have a good weekend.
You too.
As for you, the rest of you in San Diego, do the same. Be safe. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good night.